Hi, everybody, and welcome to another one of our Shoot the Shit episodes. This will be episode, I want to say 22. But technically, this isn't a Shoot the Shit. This is a session 0 for Fabula Ultima, because all of us here have decided that we're going to at least do a session 0 to try to figure out how we build this system out. It seems pretty simple. It seems pretty well thought out. We talked about it when we first talked about Fabula Ultima about a year ago now, maybe more. Ooh, was it more than a
Yeah.
year ago?
Yeah, a little over.
Ooh. Well, either way.
Well, you know.
I am James. To my right is my lovely assistant, Charles. Charles, say hi.
Hi.
All right. And then beneath me. No, to the bottom screen is Denitra.
Wow, James.
Listen, we're coming in with
Hello.
like Spitfire tonight. Spitfire. And then to my southeast, which is a call I was making the other night, is Philip.
Hey, that's me.
Punctuated most certainly by just in the background, damn it! Not me.
Yes.
Needless to say, Raid was fun and we had a great time. But tonight we're going to be talking about Fabula Ultima. Does everybody have their homework?
Yes.
The dog ate it.
No! Well, we're going to just have to put him down.
I don't know what to do. Oh, no. What have I done? I'm the boy who cried wolf. Dog.
Give me that dog. It has secrets. Secrets I need and mysteries. All right.
Mhm.
So, for anybody who's coming here for the first time, just in case, Fabula Ultima is a tabletop JRPG game that does its best to simulate fantasy video games in the JRPG genre, most notably the Final Fantasy series. To some extent, there's a lot of Square Enix games, Dragon Quest, Tales of, other systems that have a lot of like combat that is focused on this team attack, this team attack. On top of that, it's got a lot of wonderful elements. I can't recommend the book enough. It's a gorgeous book. It's a gorgeous PDF. It's just very well put together. The writing is easy to read, which is honestly kind of crazy for tabletop games. They get a little lost in the weeds sometimes, but this thing is very succinct. For example, I'm scrolling through here. We have page 145 is where we start in this book for doing a session 0. It's called Press Start. It is also aptly named the same as the Press Start campaign that you can get for free online for Fabula Ultima. We're not doing that today, but we could have easily done that at some point. I know our people like to make their own characters and such, so I figured we'd do it this way. As you
Sounds
can
good to
see,
me.
yeah, it goes from 145 to 140, honestly, 149. And the rest of it is just, here's a bunch of tables to help you out. Here's a bunch of suggestions. Here's a bunch of other things. So let's start at the start, shall we? The commitment and expectations of a session 0. I'll just read off the thing, which is kind of boring, but also we have a way to get into it. And feel free to interrupt me and talk at any moment, fellas and ladies. Now that we've gathered together, there are a few things to discuss before beginning to create a world and characters. For each topic, read the questions and discuss your choices as a group. Commitment and expectations. The first thing you should discuss is the amount of time and effort everyone will be able to dedicate to the game. This will help set expectations and avoid issues later on during play. We obviously record these every so often, so it would be a question of us setting a schedule. I don't know what everybody's commitment is, and I don't really expect us to have a commitment yet today, but if anybody knows how they would feel about playing a game like this, it's also a question of prior to playing it at all, you don't know how invested you are, right? But what do you guys
6 hours of Prague every week with makeup days, yeah.
Oh, no. No. Charles.
Wow.
That's as far as I'll go.
Charles, that's very generous, and I don't think you understand that.
Yeah, but it's kind of locked in for us. Probably twice per month. If we do more than just one.
Yeah, if we decide to pick it up. So Philip, Denitra?
I'm interested.
I mean, yeah, I'm interested in it. I'd like to see, what the game world will look like.
Okay. Also of note, this is designed around the idea that you're all playing it at an actual physical table, and so
Mhm.
the idea here is, hey, let's set some guidelines before then. Game is designed around sessions of approximately 4 hours. How long do you expect your sessions to be? I can cut a session to 4 hours. You guys know me.
Yeah.
This chatting thing, terrible at managing the time of. Actual sessions that I'm running, actually pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, very true.
I believe you.
Despite my best efforts.
True. If there are missing players, will you reschedule or will you play nonetheless? Which
It really depends on what's going on. Like if it's something that we definitely will need the entire party, I will definitely push for a reschedule. But if it's just like a shopping thing and we talked about like, oh yeah, the blah blah blah, the next session we're gonna be shopping, and someone's like, oh crap, I can't make it next session. We'll play. We'll tell you what we got.
yeah.
I agree.
And on top of all of that, after we've done this, if we play a session or two and we're enjoying ourselves, I will be polling the audience or our friend group to see if anybody else wants to join, because this is a game of 3 to 5 players, which means up to 2
Yeah.
more could be included if they wanted to, and we would go from there.
Yeah.
Tones and themes for this. This is a game with a relatively broad scope. Depending on the kind of world and characters you create, campaign's tone and themes can vary quite a bit. Because this is a shared storytelling experience, you need to be on the same page or at least lay a solid foundation. You can always discuss changes. And it asks, like, what kind of tone do you expect during the narration? Would you prefer heavily dramatic tale dealing with complex situations? Or would you rather tell a fantastical story where good and evil are obvious? Do you want Star Wars or Star Trek? Well, no, Star Trek's also kind of bad for that. Do you want Star Wars or you want Tales of the Abyss?
James's take the wheel.
I'm not a fan of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
fair.
that was a bad example.
That's fair.
But,
So, I mean,
Uh,
I use Star Wars as the example of, like, George Lucas doesn't
Oh, yeah.
understand nuance in his characters, even though he writes it in somehow.
Yeah.
So you're like, the Jedi were really bad, and I'm pretty sure George Lucas is on record of being like, what? No. Jedi good,
Look, only the Sith
Sith
deal in
bad.
absolutes.
Well,
Literally wrote that
I
line.
can.
Yeah.
For thinking of themes and whatnot, my idea for the first character was basically a retired superhero who has been kicked out of the job and has lost his arm and is now fighting to get back into the game.
Oh, okay.
So you want to go? So we want to go dark and gritty. Like I've got a character ready for it.
so I'm not going to argue against dark and gritty, like all told, but I would like there to be fun times, since the engine is very conducive to the more familiar tropes that we experience from the media that we enjoy. I like grimdark, but I also like
Magical girl. I also got a magical girl character.
yeah, I guess. Like let's use Final Fantasy like in general as an example. Like there's some bad shit happening in every single scenario, but there's always going to be a moment where something stupid happens, and everybody who this is happening to, they're just like, oh, not that's stupid. That's a stupid situation. Why are we chasing
Cloud's
chickens in
inside his
town?
own brain having a mental breakdown, but then he's also like tripped, and suddenly you hear that
Yeah,
Harlequin music playing. It's like, ha ha ha, look at this
exactly.
idiot.
Exactly.
You
Look,
gotta have both.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think people, as long as they find the balance, and I have no doubt that you as the GM, James, would be able to find that balance. I've never actually sat at one of your tables, so I'm interested to see how this goes,
That's
honestly.
legitimately
She's
not
judging.
true.
Radical
isn't?
Robo Rock
Well, she
Rangers.
is judging. Yeah.
Oh, right.
You played a whole game with me GMing.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
That's how much she loved it. She completely erased it from her
And
memory.
since you've forgotten it, you may as well go and rewatch the entire discography of Radical Robo-Rock Rangers on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I might just actually. Okay, funny story about that. Other than my memory that has decided it's bad, the notes for the character that I based Deja on are literally in this
This
document I have.
document.
So I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, like I guess this is
so
gonna sound stupid, but I had so much fun. It's not like we were playing a game. I just thought we were having a little.
You know, honestly, I take the compliment. You didn't see yourself sitting down at a game. You were just there to vamp for about 4 hours at a time and had a good time.
Yeah,
and then we
we're
found
playing
you a hot
something Power
Australian
Rangers with my
Green
friends.
Ranger that you could run after, and you went.
Yeah, like you don't know how much mental fan fiction that I wrote for everything in that whole shebang that we did. So yeah, my faux pas. Yes, excuse me.
I was like,
Yeah, I have
excuse
no
you, I
excuse.
rocked your socks off with an amazing game.
You did. I literally almost teared up on the final, the penultimate and ultimate episode. So I'm just like, oh man, I can't believe I said that. That's not true at all.
Hey, you know what though? Maybe that just means you didn't think it was work. I'm gonna go ahead and I have written down,
That she will
Philip,
have a
Dark and
negative on
Gritty,
everything.
and super characters. For Denitra, I have Final Fantasy and drama. For me, I wrote down, and I'll just say it out loud, I think that all of these things are very conducive to a Slayers style environment, and I've always wanted to be able to play a tabletop game that has a very Slayers grit explosion to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then for Charles, I'm just going to write trusts me for some reason.
Yeah, you can just put that down. That's fine.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Like, yeah, this game is kind of, I don't know, it is exactly in alignment with how I like to play and make worlds. You both, all three of you know that I usually go, hey, make something in the world, and it's there. So I know that whatever I add is going to be taken and twisted and presented back to me in a good way. So
the
I'm
amount
down.
of terror I have in my soul for the fact that I have to constantly be giving you Fabula points, you have no idea.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Especially since you guys are definitely going to be picking quirks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are there any themes you strongly wish to explore during gameplay? Any themes you strongly wish to explore? What that means is like, saving nature, or you really want to find like redemption for your character or things like that. These also can be worked into just your character's themes, but I think this is asking more for like the world itself. Are there any overarching themes that you care about for a story to tell?
The first one that pops in, the first one that pops into my head is like the heroics, where you actually have a group of people who realize that something is wrong and become heroes from it. Not just like, oh yeah, there was a dragon and we stopped a dragon. We're adventurers. It's like, no, actual world heroes.
Okay.
I like that.
Which is one of the pillars of the system. One of the pillars of the system that is non-negotiable is, hey, you can be as dark and gritty as you want. At the end of the day, every character here is a hero. They are.
Yeah.
Because that's how the game's made. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
I would say overarching thing, because this is what this type of thing is for. As soon as I look at Fabula Ultima, I think Magitech and magic and technology and the push and pull of the two. So those sort of themes, how to deal with new technology, or kingdoms that are better at some things than others, and they might be trying to make up for it, that sort of thing. This kind of industrial revolution of magic type setting.
Sure.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna write down Magi versus Tech.
Yeah, something in that vein.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be like straight up. There's literal that, but just growing pains because of both.
the idea that it's not just there as its own thing, but those two things also exist on their own, and there is some sort of, not necessarily a conflict, but there is always going to be an interplay between those two that's interesting.
Yeah, and there's technology powered by magic and vice versa. It's kind of blending.
Sure.
And the small group who tries to get away from both.
Sure.
The purists or whatever, the humanists.
Yeah, you need them somewhere.
There's always a guy in the trash bag talking about how, implants are bad for you.
Yeah.
It's all good. Ooh, what about a whole nation of
we're getting into that later.
Yeah.
No spoilers. No spoilerinos. This game actually does a great job of saying, everybody please bring one big component to the table, and we're gonna just Lego block them together in a way that maybe it makes sense. Who's to say?
Even if it doesn't make sense, that'll be interesting.
Well, I mean, the other thing that's beautiful about this, and this is something that I think anime and other fantasy genres do a great job of playing into, is the expansion problem, where it's like, oh, there was a whole nother continent over that way. Didn't you know? Oh, yeah, we knew about that. We just never talked about it before today because, it didn't come up.
But we totally knew.
Yeah.
See, there was a big cloud over there for like 10 years, and we just didn't think
we couldn't see through it. We tried, and we knew there was something there, but what are you going to do? Big cloud.
Yeah, had to wait for the weather to change.
Took forever. Fucking long seasons, right? It's like Game of Thrones. We're gonna have winter for 20 years.
More on that later.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Okay. I'm excited now.
This has better writing than.
No. We're gonna write a much more cohesive story than George R.R. People can't walk in a line, Martin.
Yeah. She kind of forgot about. Wait, no, that was not his fault technically.
Yeah,
that was
I'm talking about the other people, the wannabe Star Wars people.
Oh, sure.
Okay. I'm not in the know exactly, I don't think, but that's okay. My head's in a lot of places right now.
Don't watch the end.
Okay. I won't. Oh.
You know what? Actually, don't listen to me. I'm not a fan of the franchise, so I'm not a good person to ask.
Listen, I checked out when people ended up not liking the Rian Johnson movie. My hottest, spiciest take. I thought that movie was great.
Yeah, I think it was the best
pinnacle one. Star Wars, and people who don't think that's the case, I don't think they paid attention to the genre as much as they say they do. They wrote their own story in their head. Right? Which one?
The first of the new ones, right?
No, the first of the new ones I liked. I also like the second one. That's my spicy take.
Yeah,
people who are I like that's not good, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, well, you didn't have to make Finn an idiot character.
Star Wars, like, fine. But
let's all call.
Okay, sorry,
we're good.
No, we can 100%. Let's just out the spade that is the spade in the room right now, and that is Finn should have also been a Jedi at me.
Yes, for F's sakes.
Sure. It should have been two of them. It should have been cool that way, that they were split. It would have been great.
And the romance between What's-Her-Fuck and Brickhouse Fuck? Ew!
Don't you be mean to that boy. He worked out really hard to look like that.
That wasn't an insult.
Okay, good. I thought you were just like saying he's built like an actual house. Like
a brick house is a compliment.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch the third movie because I knew this is like my Spider-Man 3. I also never saw that. I could talk a whole diatribe about that, but you could just go watch OSP's diatribe about it and know I disagree with everything Blue says. Because he liked the third movie and I can't. Will the heroes be best friends from the start, or are you okay with moments of crisis and disagreement within the party? This, not just are you starting in a tavern? This is not what this is asking. What this is saying is there going to be drama in the group, or is everybody going to be pushed on by external forces only, and you're always basically a unit? Which I think is a cool question to ask.
It is a cool question. And may I jump in real quick?
Of course.
Stop that, you. Frankly, I don't like disruptive players at all. Like I don't find that fun, but interpersonal drama between characters, like I believe at least with this small group starting off, like I'm pretty sure these two fellas know my threshold of like it's really funny. I'm just like I want some whimsy, I want some fun, brevity between all of the big important story beats. But then I'm also like, there's don't do too much stupid shit and be annoyed. I'm
Yeah.
do you get what I'm saying?
I think that's a
I'm
different
trying to
kind of ground rule, but I'm grokking what you're saying.
okay. So like I said, I'm not worried about that, like with this group
Yeah.
at all. And then anybody that we would pull in and be like, hey, come play the game. Like I don't think there would be too much of a problem. And if there was, I would let them know in a hopefully not passive aggressive way.
No
Yes.
lames allowed. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
I think the drama between characters can be good. I just worry when like two characters have that, and so when one character has an idea, the other character is just, well, I kind of have to be against that idea, and then you kind of run into this issue where it's like, okay, well, how do we progress the story?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean,
Yeah.
as long as it's not that, I'm happy with it.
yeah, like I don't think anybody's gonna be like too stupidly contrarian. Like I'm gonna use One Piece as an example. Like both Zoro and Sanji, they are going to be they're determined to disagree with each other, but they also lock in immediately when a good idea is ready. You know what I mean?
Two lancers lance fighting each other is absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you, Charles. Funny you talk about that. I was explaining something and Charles just was like, I was explaining something about One Piece and Charles just looked at me and he's like, huh, Lancer's gonna Lancer. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's called Luffy has two lancers and neither of them can decide which one is the actual one. And so they just fight each other instead. And he just sits there and goes, haha, you guys.
Yeah. But Sanji's always gonna win because Sanji bathes more than Zoro, so
There it is. That's the one. Also, he can actually do stuff besides fight, which Zoro can't.
yeah. Zoro gets lost, drinks booze, and
lot of Zoro apologists online who are just like, Zoro would win the fight. It's like Zoro wouldn't make it to the fight. He has the Ryoga problem.
Exactly. Like he would
all
end
the
up
way.
in Tokyo.
Oh wow.
It's like, cool man.
I'm just here.
Sanji's just like, cool man, I'm gonna round the corner and you're not my problem anymore.
It's true.
Okay. Any other feelings on basically, I guess, inter-party conflict? Obviously, the feeling that I want to give is that I'm always 100% down for inter-character conflict. It's inter-player conflict that is the problem, or when a player is being disruptive. If a character can be disruptive in the correct way, you can get a Amelia or a Naga out of that, and that's great.
Yeah, and that's really fun. I don't think we're gonna have any issues with that. Like, and especially if two players decide that their characters are gonna be rivals, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Do the whole lightning
that will
eyes
definitely be coming when it comes to our character building, because we're gonna go into the bonds.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Tones and themes is we got that. Rules and challenges. Much like Tones and Themes, this game allows you to customize its rules and play it with a varying degree of mechanical challenge and optimization. Are you adopting any optional rules presented in the book? Pay special attention to the rules for conflicts, page 82, and advancement, page 230. We can do those. We can build those in the air. We're all proficient enough at play. A lot of this is setting ground rules in advance so that you're ready in case you are, I think, like brandish new to playing tabletop games.
Makes sense.
So I think as far as game systems go, we're going to be able to lock in what we want after a certain point. I would say that I know that mechanical challenge and optimization is at least 1.5 people here's T.
In some way,
Yeah.
you know.
You like to see what you can poke and prod at the system, and that's always fun.
Mhm.
And I think this is a very good system for that too. So, how hardcore do you expect your game experience to be? I'm not really
Please.
expecting this to be.
No.
I think that's
Don't inundate with battles. Like, yes, I know there's going to be battles, but please, once again, I don't like if I have to fight more than a dozen of anything, I'm gonna be quite cross. I won't say anything on stream, but you'll certainly hear about it.
So limit it to a dozen. Okay.
Only 12. No more than 12 enemies per fight.
You know what? Sure, I'll fucking take it. But I swear to God, if there's like, oh, it's a gauntlet, I got your number.
I think you'll find
we'll
that
have
this
an
game is
elevator fight.
surprisingly not combat mechanics oriented for all the combat mechanics it does give your characters.
I figured you just know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You all know what I'm talking
You
about.
don't want to. We love it. We love what Matt Colville calls it. We don't like a slog.
Yeah.
You just put a bunch of HP on something, and then you're like, well, I'll keep hitting it until it dies. It's like, cool. Is it dealing us any damage? No. Are we dealing it a little? It's gonna die eventually. How long are we gonna be here? No, we're not gonna do it.
Has the boss gained a red tint or hue? Are they? Oh my God, are they dying?
Has the first health bar gone away yet?
Yes, but now the second health bar loads to double sized. All right. And then safety. Oh yeah, lines and veils. Everyone should indicate any lines and veils. They are on page 140. So we will go there and take a look.
Oh.
These terms were coined by Ron Edwards in Sex and Sorcery, and they are practical safety tools with history of good results. Before or during game, you may declare that you are drawing a line or veiling a situation or action. When you draw a line, you're saying you don't want this element of the game. When you veil, you are saying while this element is present, you don't want it to be expressly depicted or be brought into the spotlight. For example, if there's slavery in the game and you're like, no, I don't want slavery, or I understand in a system where slavery could exist, but I want that veiled. I don't want that to be the center of one of our episodes. As a symbol.
Pretty much. About the slavery thing, I'm gonna say veil if we are not going to actively take care of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you don't want it there passively. If it's there, you want to be doing something about it. That's completely understood.
Yeah, and we're a hero campaign, so like.
Sounds good.
Veil unless
also,
we pierce it.
Spiders.
No, there's going to be spiders.
I know there. Look, I accept that there's going to be spiders.
Denitra, I need to show you these cute spiders. Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
What do you mean, cute spiders? Is it that one anime?
You know what? Actually, props to them. I don't think they put spiders as a main beast in the game. They didn't.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
They knew they have bombard ants. And they look so derpy. Denitra, I'm gonna show you like art of these things later, and nothing in this game, all of it is like Sonic villain level cute.
Okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah. So. All right. So anyone else?
So many things.
I want to make sure. Any other lines and veils?
No, not at the beginning.
Okay. And of course, at any time, if you have anything, just let me know. And of course, if I think it's going to be a sensitive topic, I will approach it probably to the person who it's happening to before. I know that I pointed this out probably before on one of our Shoot the Shits, but when we were doing Denitra's episode for Robo Rock Rangers, and it was about popularity and bullying and things like that, I approached the subject immediately with her beforehand to say, hey, how do you feel about me using this as a topic piece? I know that this can be touchy. So
that's good thinking.
Yeah. Well, and more so because I was asking if it was okay to have Deja have been essentially passively part of it without knowing, because the popularity tends to have that sort of thing falling in the background of it, whether or not the popular person knows they're doing that.
Yep.
And I wanted to have that be part of it. So I let her know that. She gave me the A-OK. We did it.
Yep.
Cool. Very cool.
And that's another thing I just want to throw out there while we're, vamping for a little bit. Hey, if you're going to bring up something that you think is super cool, but you think it might be a little edgy and maybe you should tell your players about it, but you're like, oh, but I want it to be a surprise for them. Don't surprise your player. Surprise the character. Tell the player.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
We're playing pretend already.
Unless that's genuinely, your friend loves surprises or loves being like, oh my gosh. Then you try to oh my gosh them in a certain way, but don't be like, well, I'm going to hit them with it and they won't know it's coming. It's like, you don't know how they're going to react to that. That might be a bad time
razzle dazzle.
Yeah, you got to hit them with the 0, -1, not the 1, 2. Let's see. Conflicts advancement, hardcore, safety. The depiction level of violence. How does anybody have a particular gore level there? I know actually, Denitra, you do not like visceral depictions of gore.
Correct.
We're going to have
all that. So
yeah, no, we're going to be doing berserk level gore the entire time. All this cute art. I'm gonna have somebody draw really mangled up versions of it. It's gonna be great.
Perfect.
Oh wow, yeah, that's some 90s level, what do you call it, grotesqueness.
Oh, 8 by 8 eyes and shit, like.
No, I was thinking more like that happy tree friend shit. Like, so it's like, haha, look at how cute it is, but guess what? Fuck you.
It's cute, but so violent.
Ways to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
flashbacks.
Yes.
I would say that more than likely, being that this is JRPG level, we're probably gonna have a lot of like 4kidsing.
Sure.
That's not blood. That's
the
just
lollipop.
It's very shadowy, right there for no reason right now.
Why just don't censor it white. That doesn't work very well a lot of the time.
Yeah,
but they're not drinking beer. They're drinking milk. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
Do we need that level of censorship?
No.
Though.
No.
I imagine that we are good with the tasteful blood streak or etc.
Definitely, and I can handle gore. It's just like gratuitous, like somebody jump roping with some intestines. That's too much. That's really that's too much.
Never go full Deadpool. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. The nature of evil. Story elements such as mind control, the persecution of a minority, or violent imperialism are all common tropes in tabletop games, but for some, they are very real and tangible threats. Strive to make sure the game is a safe space. Love that. Yep. Romances, relationships, and sexuality. These elements are another trope in JRPG stories, which often feature romances between main characters. Discuss if people are comfortable with this and exactly what degree. Are y'all okay with characters hooking up? If it feels like it's appropriate.
Yep.
Works for me.
I don't need to ask you, Denitra. We're moving on.
Yep.
Now kiss.
The minis, they touch their faces.
Exactly.
As you play the game, you will probably reconsider some of your previous decisions. When this happens, talk. All right, we're getting to actual world creation stuff. I'm gonna run through this stuff just like as a primer, and then we're gonna go to actually making choices. First up in shared creation of the game world or setting is which of your characters' adventure is creating the setting in which your characters take place their adventures. This process involves the game master and players and provides everyone with strong foundation for heroes, antagonists, creatures, and events. You will need the world sheet and the map sheet. Ooh, do I have? Give me a second. I need to pull things up because I am a fool. It told me that I need them, but I didn't read that far. Fabula Ultima.
They're not your real dad.
But
they have no control.
All right. Well, I'm gonna.
We do what we want.
Charles, do you mind
we'll go out of order.
Background finding the pages for the world sheet and the map sheet as I keep going?
Sure thing.
Thank you, because I'm sure they're in here somewhere. I have a book. Flowchart on the next page. Just they have a flowchart, which I love. Describes world creation process. If you want, give your setting a name. Don't care about that yet. I don't know if you all do, or if you have any ideas, please let me know. As explained on page 14, all Fabula Ultima worlds share some core elements, the 8 pillars. I'm going to go back to the pillars and just shotgun them real fast so that we all have them in our heads as we're doing this. The 8 pillars are ancient ruins and harsh lands. They exist. A world in peril, stuff's bad. Clashing communities, people fight. Everything has a soul. Life stream is real. Magic and technology both exist, which Charles talked about before. Heroes of many sizes and shapes. Be whoever you want. It's all about the heroes. This is a heroic game. Please don't make it about bad guys. And mystery, discovery, and growth, which is, the exploration pillar.
Sounds good. I like all of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pay
I
special
got your
attention.
world and map sheet.
What pages are they?
They are not in the book. They are supplemental.
Ooh. Oh, you posted them
but
to me.
I
Thank
gave you a
thank
link.
you.
Yep. Yeah, it's just you could download it if you want, or just use it in a browser.
I might just use it in a browser
Mm-hmm.
for now.
Hopefully it's editable, or you can just take notes next to it.
World name and shape. I'm going to put some question marks, and we're going to do the traditional donut. But actually,
we may as well.
I really love. Can I copy this? Oh, I saved it.
Maybe. Probably.
I'm going to just post this in our channel so that we can see it. I printed out this and this and oh, it's a .map file. Come on, guys. Why would I want that?
I don't know.
Well, now I'm just gonna have to do Clippy of it. Hold on.
We have to be on a Taurus.
Be on it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the shape of the map. The donut shape.
The traditional fantasy donut, which is also I believe.
Yeah.
Why does anyone know why that became such a big trope?
It's very easy to navigate and keep people chambered to different parts of it as you go.
Yeah, because you can't get outside.
When you have the donut, you can lock gates here, 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 and people can't get around them as easily. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that picture, though. I like that map. I generated that, and I was like, I see a lot of interesting geographical places for civilizations to sit and be able to have like mountain bridges that separate them from each other in geographical ways that make sense. So yeah, so I think that's a cool looking map that we could use if everyone's okay with it.
Yep.
Is our planet flat or round?
Round, because it has a Arctic.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
But also, it's not so much that it's round, Philip. It's when you get off the edge on this side, you come back on this side.
The other side.
Same for north-south, which doesn't make much sense when you think about it, but it does work.
We're a donut. It's so weird and intrinsic to JRPGs. I don't know why.
All rabbits are donuts. Don't ask.
I won't.
But yeah, so let's see. We got we have the world sheet and the map sheet. Where does did I open it in here? I did. Okay, so I still have that up.
Yeah.
We're not there with any of that yet, but we will get to that. Good. That's a good sheet to have. Thank you, sir. All right. So much dead air that I'm creating.
Well, so we've got the shape, right? Where our world is, of course, round. But well, I'm sure this is just one of the land masses. Like this is the entire world.
This is
a big chunk of it.
This is the big chunk of it. You can always add to it, but before we play with that too much, because I just want to go through this and then get us to our flowchart.
Mm.
The key points that they want is souls. Everything living and unliving is connected by the stream of souls. Some worlds might feature machinery fueled by those things, while in other settings, spiritual corruption might give birth to monstrous creatures. Discuss what people generally know about souls in your world. Conflicts and struggles. The cultures populating your world haven't been able to unite themselves under a single banner. There are multiple nations. We're going to get to that later when all of us submit a nation for review. A fantastical, diverse world. When creating your setting, you shouldn't concern yourself with realism, verisimilitude, or historical accuracy. A city-state inspired by ancient Greece might be bordering with a flying fortress, guarded by warriors clad in Song Dynasty-style armor and practicing a form of alchemy similar to that of the Italian Renaissance. What really matters is each location's appearance to reflect the themes and emotions it will embody within your story. And then we get to our flowchart. And that is on page 149. And this is where we say, choose the shape of your world. Is it round, flat, or are there regions floating amidst the clouds? Like in Grand Blue, I think is just a bunch of islands.
Yep.
Could it be donut shaped in typical RPG fashion? You might even decide the shape of your world is yet to be discovered. Now, I showed you that map. If anybody has other ideas, let me know. By all means, let's all make something fun.
I have an idea.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
I am really basic, and I like the idea of floating land masses, the base world, and an underworld. They're not religious. There's, towns and cities like up in the clouds, just like there's towns and cities underground.
Maybe they're the dwarves. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're the dwarves. Maybe they're just people who are they're like, they have to wear sunglasses when they come and, hang out on the surface, shit like that.
So what I'm hearing is buffet.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know what that means.
You want to be able to choose a little bit of everything. You have the flying stuff, you have the on-land stuff, and you have the underground stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I mean,
whatever sprinkle you want to do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the thing that I would ask is, do you see floating land masses as a normal throughout the world thing, or are you thinking like there is offloading city?
There's offloading cities. Like or
a region that they can float because of something.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, like an elemental type. Maybe there's an air elemental area, and those cities can float. There's an earth elemental or a fire elemental city, and those are more underground.
Yeah, or like a place on the what do you call it? The regular ground level, like if there's like a mountain range, maybe those particular mountains are close to a sky city.
Ooh.
Okay. Sounds good. We have floating. I'm just going to write Sky City.
Yep.
Mountains.
I think Sky Cities are cool.
I agree, honestly. It was just like
terrifying, but cool.
It's interesting because like when I was talking about Grand Blue, the weird thing about Grand Blue is everything's in the sky. And I was like, that's a bit jarring, but I get it. Because it's like, what if One Piece in the air, right? It's like we do a log thing and we go to this other floating landmass. It's basically the same as, don't fall in the water, you guys. Don't fall into the sky. It goes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Skies of
all
Arcadia.
Skypea. It's
all
exactly.
Skypea. And it says here, you might even decide the shape of your world is yet to be fully discovered. Grab a map sheet that fits your concept or draw a custom map. Just make sure to leave plenty of blank space for settlements and locations. Your world can span more than one sheet, of course, but keep things simple for now. Remember to establish the length of a travel day on the map. So the map that I posted, does everybody like that?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, so with that map in mind, the length of a travel day, I would say, is probably about half of the 200. What do you guys think? Maybe less? More?
Oh, I
Well,
see. The
what is
key
it,
at the bottom.
miles? There's
Yeah,
a key at
well,
the
because
bottom.
those are the miles at the bottom. So like 200 is the typical inch. So if we're
I
looking
see.
at the squares, I believe the squares are each 600 miles. If you're looking at the
Yeah, that's what it
little,
looks like.
Well,
Yeah, it
yeah.
looks somewhere between 400 and 600 maybe. But yeah, I think 100 miles, which would be a portion of a square. What would that be? Like a third, fourth of a
Mhm.
square?
Yeah, I'd say
uh,
100 miles would be a good. We can figure out a little bit like
and
the
I
Yeah,
mean,
it might.
actual.
the other thing
Value.
to remember is we're playing a JRPG, so mileage does vary.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
Yeah.
walk from one nation to another as a matter of course on the same continent sometimes, and it's just like that was you didn't even use a tent. You didn't need to.
Yeah, you just do it.
So we can wibble wobble a little bit, but we will want to make sure we have a travel day because
Mhm.
Fabula Ultima does in fact try to emphasize what happens during travel. So
Yeah,
uh,
I
I
guess
would
it sort of
say
depends on.
I would say the 100 marker is
How,
probably good for a day's travel. That'll get us places in a relative amount
Mhm.
of time that is nebulous enough, but not boringly too long.
Mhm.
yeah, I think from like a fantasy version it works because in what reality it's people walk about 3 miles an hour. If you walked 10
Mhm.
miles, if you walking for 10 hours, you're only getting 30 miles. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it would
Well,
be
you
very
you
very
always you
slow in
always
real
give it
world.
the as opposed to the fantasy tax, it's the fantasy bonus. It's like,
Mhm.
hey,
Yeah.
you're traveling, which means you're making ground. So
Mhm.
I think that's fine. All right. So we have our travel day. Does it even give us a place on the sheet to put that? Oh, it gave us a world map. That's a cool world map. Oh, two of these are
Yeah.
pretty cool. One of them almost looks like the one I have here. We did good.
Magic and technology.
Yep. All right. What is the role of magic and technology in your setting? Are you living in an age of industrial development, or is it more Renaissance like? Is magic seen as a form of science, or mostly as a great mystery? I will tell you, I like juicy, sciency magic.
Mhm.
I like
You know,
sciencey magic.
in the process of understanding it, but there's final frontiers. Like death is weird. Like there might be necromancers, but it's not exact. You can't just resurrect people willy nilly, things like that. Or maybe you can as a zombie, but not as a whole human being. So we haven't like quite figured everything out, but they're trying.
I
Yes.
yeah, like I like how or I like the idea that magic is something that, is around maybe ambient. You said that there's like a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like the layman could use, base level magic if they wanted to study that, you know. But like as far as being like a big, powerful I don't know, wizard, like that's something you would actually have to work at and not, the world's not so magical that just everybody could do all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I think yeah, like whenever I think about like the technology, my mind always immediately goes towards something like Final Fantasy 6 or Final Fantasy 9 as far as where the technology is, but I don't know, maybe
Like the steampunk lines of
yeah.
tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like steampunk with, more magic. Maybe there's more eccentric people trying to, put those two concepts together and be like, wait a minute, no, 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 this is the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I prefer the magic and the science to be
Mm-hmm.
separate. That like whether it's a philosophical idea or purely factual, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it's better like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe
like the
that could
idea.
be an ideological difference in this world. Maybe there are people who are like, how dare you try to put those together?
I'm always a big fan of like the Eberron philosophy
Hmm.
of I like both existing at the same time. Like I like the idea of having the one guy who's just like a cootie. He's like gunpowder's cool, and you're like,
Yeah.
we have fire magic at home, Grandpa. Why are you?
Mhm.
What are you making? So like on the one hand, I really do enjoy. I love when Magitech is. I love when magic is a thing, and someone's like, I have to do this complex ritual, blah blah, and this other person's like, I juiced an elemental into my gun and now it shoots lightning. Watch, cacao.
Mm.
And they're like, that's not how that's very rude of you.
Yeah, yeah. I like that too. That mixing, that melding. You're just like, imagine like in a real world situation, somebody questions somebody's like, oh, why don't you just use magic for that? And they can say something like, when I use that type of magic, it puts a bad taste in my mouth, literally.
Yeah.
I
Like
like the idea of someone using gunpowder because yes, I could cast fireball, but it takes longer, and if you miss a word, nothing happens. Just one little mistake that the spell doesn't go off, and you're like, well, I just wasted all that time. Whereas gunpowder never messes up.
I
It
put my
just
Pokemon in
explodes.
the chamber and I pull the trigger.
Oh my god.
Okay. We seem to have a lot of varying ideas on magic and technology here, I will say.
Sure.
When it comes to magic versus technology versus magitech, do we want those all to be three somewhat separate things?
I mean, I think so, just because there's some technology that doesn't need magic, you know?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like a mundane sailing ship or something.
Sure.
But there could be Magitech versions of that, right?
Right.
Basically, Magitech is like an enhancement to the technology that's already there. You know,
Mhm.
finding shortcuts, you know.
I suppose
Or
we should broach the subject if we're talking about magic and
Mhm.
technology. I don't see it here, but I'm going to bring it up. Can everybody
Mm.
use magic?
I think there should be a base level that anybody
Mhm.
could, if they're willing to like do the steps.
Right.
Are
Like there,
anybody special because of magic in this setting? Is something I do want to bring up also.
Uh maybe if you have more innate like magical powers or prowess, like what if you were born and for some reason your parents are just like, why is the kid's eyes red? Why are they glowing?
What was it?
And
yes.
Brightburn the movie?
Mhm.
I've never seen that. That
It's
was just the
what if a kid was Superman but also actually a kid and not Paragon Clark Kent from birth?
Mhm.
oh
It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
what if you took Smallville and turned it into a horror movie?
yeah.
Yeah, basically.
oh
It's absolutely just, oh, the kid learns that he's stronger than everyone. Oh no. What's the moral consequence there?
oh, that sounds like a Twilight Zone episode.
It's just a straight up horror movie.
Yeah, it is a straight up horror movie.
Ah,
Very much just that, hey, what if Superman genuinely, what if Superman was actually a kid at some point in his life, right?
oh no.
And he realized the power dynamic was horribly skewed in his favor.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, so okay. So yeah, imagine if stuff like that happens in our world. Yeah, sure, maybe everybody can use magic, but every once in a while, maybe there's just special prodigy, really magical kids that get born and you're like, I don't know, maybe this sounds terrible, but like I don't know, maybe the government is either they pander to people or families who have like the special magic baby, or they ostracize them because it could go either way because that's how society is.
Okay.
But I think that would be a risk of a world that everybody has the capability of magic. There's going to be more powerful people. There's going to be innately more powerful people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's up to what you decide what to do in that particular type of society.
Magic doesn't work the same for everyone, is I think
Mhm.
the
Yes.
focal
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
of something that I can put in a bullet point that's easy to remember.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody can do something, but there are just some people who are better for an unknown reason, whether it's a bloodline or, you know, something we can find out later, divine, who knows. But yeah,
Midichlorians.
yeah, some people are
Yeah,
just better.
Some people are better. Yeah. Okay. The level of magic tech that we have, are we looking at a steampunk Narshi kind of situation? Are we looking at
I want airships, and I want
airships are a requirement, you don't have to ask.
Okay.
I think the airship should just be technology, not magitech. Like that's just they just figured out. I mean, there is some science. They figured out some
Can I-
steam engines,
can I-
maybe working on electricity. But
Can I interest you in
So-
both though?
yeah.
yes, yeah. I think magitech should exist, but it's like even more rare than both
Sure.
magic or so.
Here's what I would.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead, Denitra.
Go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say, maybe in this world, non-magic like inventions reach the skies before magical.
Yeah, like I said,
items.
it's a shortcut. Basically, like some group can do it, or it can enhance the airship that's already there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, okay, there's airships because we found out we can float this and we can push it with propellers and whatever. But then if you also have Magitech, you can make the propellers stronger. It could float higher. You know, maybe you have, you know, because there's magic, maybe there's magical cannons on these things, but they're rare.
Yeah.
Like that would be like the flagship,
I would,
you know, or
I would
Wouldn't
also
it-
just
wouldn't
plant.
it- Sorry, go ahead.
I do want to plant a seed just real quick. Just as an idea, as everybody's thinking of kingdoms or countries that they want to make. It's perfectly reasonable to say that both exist because resources are differently distributed. Just because one nation has a bunch of mana crystals or something available to them, they would probably skew more into Magitech. Whereas another place would be like, well, we certainly have a lot of saltpeter here, so
yeah,
and we have a lot
and
of
they could,
iron, like so much iron, so they would
So
become
much
like an iron
iron.
empire.
yeah, and they could still be evenly matched, you know,
Yeah.
just differently able.
Exactly.
I mean, that makes sense too because in our own like
Yeah,
magical
yeah.
lore, isn't iron like not good for magical things and creatures? They're like, ugh.
Some of them. Cold
cold
iron is
iron.
a thing for fairy usually. But
Mm.
cold iron is also a lot of times just like another name for more heavily
Mithril?
processed metals. So
Mhm.
Like I remember specifically in other games there have been like rocks or stone structures that are just they just zap magic. Like it's completely ineffectual. Maybe there are complete nations that are built
Dead zone.
with
Mhm.
yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, sure, this big huge empire has magic over here, but we, you know, we live out of the mountain that, magic is literally worthless against this. So,
yeah.
and we have guns.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's definitely a mountain range on the map, so that could work. Just a rocky plateau that absorbs mana, so they've found ways to work around it and use it to their advantage. There's like shields or plating or whatever.
Okay. Cool. All right.
You know,
Let's.
Isn't an airship without magic just a dirigible?
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what the Falcon is. Just it just has engines.
Mhm.
Millennium or not.
Falcon.
Yeah. All right. Now is the time where we all have to decide on kingdoms and nations of the world. Create the major kingdoms and nations of your world, mark their borders on the map, and discuss their relations, mutual trust, strained alliances, or open conflict. I'm going to go ahead and have the picture that I have of the fantasy map up here, and I'm going to start marking it up in the snipping tool as we go. Who has a nation?
Well, so when I read it, the first thing I thought of was when the Fire Nation attacks.
Okay. So,
Um,
a Fire Nation?
I was thinking sort of I think it would be helpful to have a nation that is very war and aggressive in their philosophies. They make for an easy target, an easy villain, um, something to
Easy
struggle against.
opening antagonist.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I will
Could be
say,
used.
as we go through this, everyone's antagonists will be treated equally, so we don't have
Mhm.
one big bad decided.
Okay.
Having
Sure,
just an
yeah.
aggressive nation on its own is a normal thing, though, so it's not like they have to be the main
Yeah.
villain. They could just be something that keeps recurring because maybe they're just assholes most of the time. Who knows?
Americans.
Yeah, that
Sorry,
works
I
for
didn't
me.
mean to make everybody sad.
No, I just have to go to work on Monday. That's all.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, friends.
That's okay. We're all there, right? So,
Yeah.
and
Philip. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, James.
no, please continue talking about this.
I wanted the springboard off of Philip's idea for because he said a Fire Nation and a maybe some nation that may be like militaristic or openly pushing people around. I came up with like a loose concept around those general staples
Okay.
that
Cool.
uh uh what I have written here is the Empire of Janos with Empress Valkana Janos the Fifth.
Ooh, nice
Uh,
names. Very cool.
their nation is they're from a hot climate and whatnot. So I figured, blah blah blah. She isn't actually the fifth. She's like the 200th because this place has been here for a long time. Their nation has survived because they bully their neighbors, frankly.
So, wait, was this Yonkos? I'm trying to write stuff down.
Janos.
Janos, got it. And also, just for the record, there can be two war dog nations. That's a
Sure.
Oh,
normal
definitely.
thing. There's a lot of nations in the world.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was just springboarding off of Philip because it was a little, 2-3 sentence thing that I was just like,
I like it.
because
Sounds good.
I have a
Volcani
bad habit of
Yonkos, huh?
coming
Or
up with
Janos, huh? She
numbers.
sounds hot.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose.
Denitra making a hot Empire Nation mommy. I didn't mean to do it.
Hmm. Of course.
How? Oh no, we're not to that part yet. Never mind. I was about to ask a question about people. So never mind. We're not
Yeah.
there yet.
All right. So Philip, you have a fire nation that is a warlike industrial nation. Denitra, if you have the Empire of Janos, I don't know whether these want to be combined or separate. I'm gonna keep them separate for now, since I want
I
I mean, they
everybody to
work
have
as
separate ideas
well.
so that we have more.
Yeah.
Well, so what if, pulling from a different game that I had ideas for, if we keep that as the fiery nation, right? We can have them maybe not sort of like an underground, maybe is how the fires and heat and idea, and then we throw in another
Are we
elemental
steam
city.
powering these
Like
motherfuckers?
I don't see why not.
Seems
They've
fair to
got
me.
thermal
They have
vents. Yeah,
a lot of steam vents and other things that they could definitely pull from.
they have figured out geothermal.
Yeah,
Oh
geothermal. I mean,
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And then sort of throw out like sort of the opposite, and we do an air nation. They, for whatever reason, they have certain land masses that enable their continent to float, fly.
Mm-hmm.
So, not trying to pull everything from Avatar or anything, but just
Well, I mean, you're giving us our flying our Skypia, so it's fine.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting if they were like, as you enter the area, it like gradually shifts up. So like there's a couple like low flying pillars and outcroppings of places, and then as you get more towards the center, it gets more powerful. So like instead of it just being like normal land, all of a sudden everything flies, and then it's like it sort of like ramps up so that you can get into the city, people can show up type thing.
Okay.
And then,
So instead of like low grav, it's like everything's kind of for lack of a better term, lighter than air because of
yeah.
the.
I wanna lock into this actually. So what you're telling me is this is a place you can walk to that is a sky nation sort of.
It's, I mean, you got to climb some, but yeah, it's like climbing mountains and what was in the other Avatar movie, where the rocks are like, vegetation is sort of connected, some of them.
Sure.
So it's not an easy, foot trip, but it can be done.
Oh, I love
It
the
would be
idea of
better
having a sky city that is reachable on foot, ostensibly.
They usually do stuff by, the airships, but
Yeah.
It would be easy to walk there if you don't have a passport.
I want
Easy.
us to explore that more later. I want to put down final transport method. Something's got to get you onto the thing that's disconnected from everything else, and I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
I want that to be something really cool and fun. Whatever the beanstalk is for this setup.
Cool.
Because of the map, would there be a lot of like persnickety land bridges?
Well,
where are we talking now?
That's another thing. I think she means in general. Yeah. Yeah, he said that earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
No, that's absolutely yeah. It would make sense for there to be like a bunch of like, if you're trying to get to the sky thing, is like there's a lot of stuff that's basically are we saying this is a natural occurrence for this sky city, or is this something that was generated?
No, it's just an effect of the topography.
Okay, so this place doesn't move; it is just up in the air. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna say it doesn't. About that,
I'm gonna say it doesn't move yet.
Yeah. Like, is that the only sky nation, or is there, like, could there be like a static, like the big sky city is the static one, like exactly where that one is, but maybe smaller ones, maybe have a pattern that they orbit.
I like that. I think it stands to reason if you have one central hub that is floating in the air for a particular reason, that you would then have, with the power of magic and science and magitech, a system that was derived where it's like, well, but we could just hover a city out for a little bit and then bring it back and have that sort of ingress egress going. Very very Laputa, very Castle in the Sky style.
Yeah.
Of like, well, now that we know how this updraft effect works, we were able to focus something similar, or we've discovered using, I mean, there is technically an entropist in the game as a class.
Sure.
And that I believe is gravity magic. So
I think there's some of that, yeah.
Floating mobile cities, main continent.
And also, there's no reason they couldn't also be like trying to take over more area. They're whatever they take over just doesn't float yet.
Right.
Fly, I should say, not float.
Yeah. Oh, I could definitely see a world where there's a villain, or at least a person who's like, so anyway, we've made it so we can move the whole continent now. All I need to do is sacrifice some terrible price. And everyone's like, well, that's horrible.
Please don't.
Like, well, what if yes? Honestly, that would just be the technology villain that's just like, listen, wouldn't it be sick though? Just let me do the cool thing. Imagine all you have to do to win a war is just move over top of something. Oops.
Oh no.
Moving on.
No.
Colony
It's-
drop
Yeah,
time.
I
It's-
was like, you cannot Australia every nation that disagrees with
It's
you.
not in Australia. It's going to be very slow and methodical.
Mhm.
No.
Listen, it's not the impact crater of dropping onto Australia or anything like that from orbit. It is literally just, we're just going to move over top of you and threaten you, and if you don't comply, we will just slowly crush your nation, and then we'll go back up and about our business.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Could you imagine being threatened by like this giant oppression continent floats overhead and it's like, we're gonna just start throwing rocks and yeah, F you.
Mhm.
Not only throwing them, man, if we just like lower the grav mech just a little bit, the rocks will just fall on their own. It's terrifying, truly.
Mhm.
So that's
You
a
know how you
fun
need that
terrible.
you need that sun to grow your crops? Well, we're just going to shadow your entire nation.
Yeah.
Yep.
No more sunlight for you. Pay us a sunlight tax.
All right, well, we've made a very evil air nation now as we've been
Yep.
talking, but maybe it doesn't have to
Is
be
Fire
that.
Nation the good guys?
Yeah, it
But
could be.
they went underground for a reason.
Yeah, they
Yes.
could have.
Hey, those air guys, they're assholes. We went
Mhm.
underground.
Sometimes they just spit off the side to see what happens. It's not
Yeah.
cool.
Terminal velocity saliva is disgusting. I hate it.
it basically just mists on impact, but rude.
Rude.
Right?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Every now and again, you just find like pennies on the ground. Like, what the? Just chucking coins, little kids.
Mhm.
So I do want to say, when we're talking about these nations, some things that we should talk about. Mark their border on the map, discuss their relations, mutual trust, strained alliances, or open conflict. So where do we want the Empire of Janos to be on the grid? Obviously, it might be underground and not showing up on this map, but where would we like it to reside?
Ooh. Hold on. Let me get that back.
What if we did like 30 west by 30 south?
Mhm.
I have no qualms with that location.
Maybe a little, yeah.
I had
Yeah.
a thought just because it was
Sure.
fun. We could always put it in the Arctic or the Antarctic. Because underground
Sure.
doesn't give a shit
Right.
how cold it is outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
That's true.
I like that idea, actually.
I will
Yeah, it
say
could be
it's
just a little further south,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
on the bank of that lake or whatever that is.
Are you talking 45 south, 45 west? Or are you talking the big lake?
The big interior lake.
Oh, I see
What
it.
is this? 45.
15 west, 45 south.
Yeah, 15 west. Yeah, like south of there somewhere.
Ooh,
They've
I
got
like that.
Mhm.
What do you guys think? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
because then they could also have like ships, you know, that they could surface and go on that lake. I don't know that it connects
You
anywhere
could have
else, but
submarines.
yep,
Yep.
exactly, to get out of there.
Yep, like the yeah, I was specifically thinking about the fire ship from Final Fantasy V because of course
Yep.
I was.
You
Yeah, but
like
maybe they could
Final
go under.
Fantasy V? What? That's so
Yeah,
crazy.
maybe there's some way underneath and out to the big interior sea, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, it
yeah,
looks like
like
there's a river.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
right.
river
Yeah,
right
there is definitely a river.
right there in where is it? Between 30 and 45 south and between 15 and 0 west.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay,
so that's very important to them.
so where do we want to draw the border for this nation then? Do we want it to be
I think
Usually what we do is we draw a border based off of a mountain range. So there is the mountain range that spans across 30 west to 0. That is those very tall, like white-ish mountain range. Or is that low? No, that's high, right?
it's high, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it might be interesting
really
is that
jagged.
their borders aren't really known because they have so much stuff underground that it's just sort of like an estimate or a guesstimation of where
So
they extend to.
they would have an official take on the map, especially if they are a warring nation,
Huge nation,
simply
yeah.
because they would be imposing tariffs and taxes and things like that within their boundaries.
Mm.
But I would love the idea of not putting past them, just being like, yeah, but we've dug way farther than that. We just don't tell
definitely.
people.
Yeah,
Mhm,
so
for sure.
on a political map, yes, I would say that their territory on the ground looks like a certain amount with boundaries that are well defined, but yeah, they have expanded way more underground than they have recorded. Well, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, probably so that mountain range you pointed out at like 15 south, 60 west. So south of that mountain range, and then maybe like halfway into that peninsula going east, but they've actually extended a lot further underground.
How does this look for their official border? Please do the needful. Thank you.
Yeah, so they
Yeah,
have
like
that kind of interior area,
Mm-hmm.
that
I
interior
was
sea.
I was I was
Where are you
thinking
thinking?
shifting it over to the west.
To the west?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
do you
that
think
way
they
like
don't reach that? They don't reach that that port side?
yeah, that yeah, like we
That's the
don't
edge.
yeah, politically they don't go that far, but in reality they do.
Okay, let
Like
me see.
they're underground wise they have. That was my
Yeah,
idea.
under
but-
that lake over there to the east. Then, like they go only as far as like that up and down peninsula, but they go further than that. Yeah, under the water basically, or around it.
So modified. Just gonna delete and replace as I do these. And it's going to be so fun for anybody listening and watching us do this because I'm not doing the map on the board.
It's fine.
Does that look
We'll
better?
put it somewhere.
Yeah, so the inner line is their political one and then the outer one is their actual one.
Sure.
So, was that what you're thinking?
we don't have to actually like codify what their outer line is right now. I was just drawing to draw.
General area, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. So we're gonna label that as Yonkos, right?
Yep.
With a hot empress.
Yeah.
Denitra, how old is the Empress of Yonkos?
Right now she is 40.
Ooh, she's at that spicy age where she doesn't really care about men anymore.
Yep.
She's at that Catherine the Great who needs a man age.
Yep.
Love it, love it.
She has a consort. People haven't seen him in a while, probably.
He's busy. He's got work. There are heirs to create.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things in the Witcher series is, and it's a little bit lampshaded, the Lioness of Sintra in the show itself, but it's like in the books, once she lost Ciri as a potential heir, East did not have a knight to himself. She was ravaging him to get another child in the throne line.
Need to replace.
Yeah. He was actually, I think he like complained to Geralt. He's like, I'm so tired. I don't have a moment to myself right now, and it's exhausting.
Do your job, man.
It'd be fun, except she really is just like, put a child in me. No, this isn't. Stop having fun. Put a child in me. And he's just like,
but I gotta have fun to put the child in you.
Not true.
Do your
Yeah,
job.
fair enough.
But yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, internet. Feel free to comment, but I'm pretty sure that was one of those things where he was just like, I am so worn out. I am doing my job as best as I can, and it's a lot. All right, so we have Yonkos on the map. Next up, where do we want our air nation to be?
What about the northeast mountain range?
The big old white tall one?
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe just a little south of that, and we can maybe play between the two, depending how much we need. We can expand around if as
Do
the game
we
progresses.
feel like this is a sprawling nation, or do we feel like this is another sort of concentrated one? Would they
I
be
think that
bordering Yonkos? Yonkos is kind of a
No.
smaller nation as we've made them, simply because they're. I would say that usually industrial nations tend to be pretty compact until they explode outward in an
they
imperial
build
strike.
tall, you know.
Yeah, they build tall so they can fall outward.
Mhm.
I think it should be like starting to expand. So like maybe like I don't know, half again as large. And that way it's like they're trying to expand, but it's still early in that conquest.
Okay. Oh God, that's a terrible color.
But not
because-
bordering. No.
Not bordering.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
over there.
I've got what I'm gonna guess is probably we're gonna do one of these. I imagine they have quite the radius to them.
Yeah, they need a whole lot of farmland, that's for sure.
How do we feel about that?
That seems good.
Cool.
I like it.
We got a few more places to fill in. Charles, you got a nation for us?
Sure. No, I don't have a name. I didn't even think about that.
I mean,
Like, whatever you got.
honestly, let's see. For the air nation, we have Yonkos. Don't just rhyme it, bonkos. Don't just rhyme it, bonkos.
Bongo.
No.
Wait, what?
Please don't.
I mean, we can figure that out.
I always
because it might be cultural too.
Yeah, I imagine that anything that is an air nation has an IA at the end of it, just because they're all wispy and shit.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, for sure. Well, the kingdom.
Sorry, go ahead.
The kingdom that I thought of, is kind of a smaller player in this, not outwardly militaristic, but they have hold on some sort of resource. But what they are the spy masters. We're talking you go into this town knowing that you're being listened to. Every tavern, every hallway, especially when you're speaking to anyone of note, and they all know it.
I see.
So kind of cosmopolitan for sure. One of the more industrial ones, but for commerce and not for war. But yes, with a very large sway and some mercantile, maybe something like that. But the main thing is that they've got their hands in all of the pies.
It sounds like you've made a Venice, Charles. Would you like to make a
Sure,
Venice?
absolutely. Sure,
I was
absolutely.
gonna ask, like, is this the nation where you would find stuff like is this going to be where people around the world would go for like the cultural experience? Like if some small town person in Podunk,
Sure.
Asheville.
The New York,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. I would say, kind of one of the center points because they are outwardly neutral, even though they are everything but.
Yeah.
That's just the way that they roll. But yeah, I was just basically imagining some power that is at peace, but not because they could do war, but because they know enough or have the right alliances or something in that way. But they are aggressively nosy, let's say, when you're in town. Um, there's a kind of a book series that I got it from, and there's a good passage of like going to
Do I
court
know
and
this
talking.
book series, Charles?
You do.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Just a little bit. It's taken to an extreme because it's like mixed with another one, but it's basically the place where you go if you're adventurers and you're talking to a magistrate and they're like, yeah, so I need you to do this. There's going to be resistance. How do you know there's going to be resistance? Because they're literally listening in the room right now behind that curtain. Right? They know the
Everybody knows
situation that
everybody
they're in.
else's game.
Yeah, exactly. It is a city of the game, right? Where it's annoying to try and get truth out of someone, right? It's kind of openly hostile to the truth.
But
That
it
sort
is
of
the
place.
best place to get information.
Yes, absolutely.
Some resource there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Has given them this ability, yeah.
Neutrality,
Not
quote unquote, neutrality with other nations.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, if somebody from another country has a right hand man or lady from this
Probably
country,
trained there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have two choices that I think are good spots, and it's because they're the two central-ish peninsulas to that main sea.
Yeah,
one of them
either
gives,
one. Yeah,
one of them gives just flat lands that doesn't really, but is between two of the bigger other nations and probably between a third. Like, I do like that flat spot there location wise, but I think that if we're talking about a resource, there is something to be said about the more northwest one that is got somewhat of a mountains sort of thing going. I think either is fine. I like the idea of it being Venice-y, being sea level.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I could see like the capital being far east there in that kind of concave looking area, and it just sprawls out along the coast.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because it's directly in the middle of the trade route. And then,
exactly.
their lands extend to the other side, basically. Maybe a sister city on the other side.
Very much like I would, if we're going with this, I'm going to be rewatching a bunch of OSP of blues stuff talking about Italy, Venice, Sicily, all the different groups that are very much well, we're the Mediterranean. What are you going to do? You can't go around us. We have all the ships.
Right. And this would be, the government would reflect that some sort of council or mercantile group. This is not a kingdom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not like monarchy.
Gotcha. It is.
It probably isn't democracy either, but maybe something similar.
Could do you pulling from like One Piece, the what is that? What's the sea stone stuff that stops
Sea
all
prism stone.
Is that what it is? It stops the devil fruit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
If they had that, something like that, and that's what dampens magic.
Yeah, they could be the ones who figured out dampening of magic, and that would make sense because Yonkos is. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's another idea, and that is that they have the lumber specifically in their low flats that is the perfect lumber for airships. Maybe there is a special kind of wood that you need to build that shit. Whether it's because of density and durability or all sorts of things that ends up combining out to be like, this is our land and where this stuff resides. And if you want to trade, we have it here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
So even though they're on flatlands, they've kind of grown some towers. Good for airships.
Yeah, this would be, kind of
airships
like
can
a
land
great
in
stop.
the water.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. But this is kind of like the stopping point. Wherever you're going to any of the great countries, you might come through here. I mean, It looks like there's space for a far west as well, so they wouldn't be so much. They'd be kind of on the other side of the world, but they're kind of in the middle of probably a great three or so, and that's why they have the water for Yonkos and things like that. Of course, airships and uh, anchorages in the air. Just built to service basically anyone.
Right. I think I'm gonna do some genericizing here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go here. Let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is definitely a nation here. I don't know about that over there. That might just be wilds would be weird.
Wilderness.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that mountain range west of Yonkos. I don't know who does anything there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that might be wild. That could be unincorporated. It could be a frontiers area
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where there might be like some colonies or some settlements of other people, but not much. Just 'cause it's
Yeah,
hard to
since
travel.
it looks like it's all one, like it's so much of it is yellow that it would just be not really, it's inhabited, but not like city
Yeah,
wise
yeah.
or nomadic people.
Hmm. There's not even a whole bunch of rivers coming off of it either, so it's like dense mountain hilly. The storm peaks.
Yeah.
So let's say, I think, just to block some stuff out,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do. Okay. Just to make this more realistic as far as actual borders go for places. I think as far as nation states go, what are you guys' opinions on what I've drawn here?
There's a
Looks good.
crab claw.
Yeah, I saw the crab claw.
So what I'm thinking is that would whatever our equivalent to a dwarven nation would be, that is
Yeah,
like
sure.
a big fun mountain range that
Mhm.
has a secondary mountain range to it as well. I don't know, maybe that's part of the other one.
Yeah,
I
it
think it looks
could
good.
be. Yeah.
But
Either way,
I
really.
would want whoever is here to be not necessarily nomadic, but certainly very good at mountain.
Yeah.
Sort of like maybe like a giant then rather than dwarven.
Could be.
Giants isn't bad. Let's see though. The nation that I have is not per se a nation. It is something that I just like
Mhm.
reusing whenever I have the ability to. Um, and that is I'm just gonna call it spare for now because I don't want to write out everything.
Hmm.
Right there in that one very, very tall mountain.
Mhm.
I'm just going to put Sparentor on this map. That is a setting that I have created that I enjoy immensely. It is just a walled, uh, whatever the equivalent of Dwarven is, city that was
Mhm.
abandoned a long time ago because a demon showed up. Because it was a mining city that was originally like a castle defensive city, and they had their mine in the back of it. And then you see immediately like a flip where the city instead is barricaded against the mountain
Mm.
because the a demon got out and was basically running amok there, and then an adventuring group came in, just destroyed the demon, defeated him, and then it is like a free city that stands on its own, and the adventuring party who did that still, the ones that are still around actually did a bunch of work there to maintain the city, and it's basically free of any nation.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
How cool is the demon?
How cool.
Yeah.
Well, he's been dead for 100 years, so pretty ice cold.
Okay.
Imagine, if you will, just like your generic Lotus War or whatever party that just rocks up and kills a demon, but then they decide to stay and make the place habitable again. And nobody has a claim on it because for X number of years, a demon ruled it with a bunch of demon army and nobody
Yeah.
fucked with it.
Yeah. Makes sense. It's like, yeah, well, the president was a demon, so now.
I would love to have a demon nation somewhere.
Sure, yeah. And I
Do you want
mean,
it underground or above ground?
I like it
I mean,
above
it could be
ground.
west of Yonkos.
Ooh, yeah.
It could be west of Yonkos. My only complaint, if it's west of Yonkos, I want to steal the mountains for it too.
yeah, I would
do it.
say that.
Yeah. And I want.
Well, then we could do
Yeah. Go ahead.
east of Yonkos, and then you already have those mountains in there.
That's true. Is there a demon-led nation that interacts in politics?
Of course,
Is
devils.
yeah, I mean, but is it
I'm just questioning for the setting for you guys.
yeah, I'm asking, like,
Because
is this a overt demon leadership nation, or is it another nation and
I
nobody, like, the layman's not supposed to know that the king or the queen is a fucking demon?
I like it when a demon nation is honest. And they are demons or devils, and they are very much just like, yeah, we're infernal, but we live here. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to war, we
So
do
why not?
Yeah.
they're just another race of people.
Yeah. Okay. Then
Cool.
an infernal nation right here in the center of everything hubbub.
Yeah.
Now the question is are they natural in the sense, like, are they from there, or do they have to come from a different place?
Did they colonize this area that they
Yeah.
live in
Could have been
now?
a great mishap
Ooh, yeah,
We
yeah.
could have
that
a
brought them
dark.
here.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Spell gone wrong.
Yeah.
I was gonna say just a dark portal situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Orcs show up, not from here, take everything they can.
yeah. And who knows why it happened.
So with
Something we can
them, I
figure
want
out.
them to be a very magically raw magic focused nation. I want the infernal. I this is another reason why I want this, because I love Slayers so much, and I love infernal magic from Slayers being drawn from pacts with strong demonic presences. And so I like the idea of a magical nation where most of them have a familial tie to that magic, being kind of an intrinsic thing, and them being a very magic industry nation, if that makes sense.
May I make a suggestion then?
Sure.
What if this nation was one of those ones where, yes, it's infernal, but maybe the people who like live there, like the, I guess, humanoids, if they did come from somewhere else, like part of the lore of that nation is the synergy between these two people who came together, but it's still the infernal influence. Does that make
So,
any sense?
well, who's the other people? I'm curious.
Uh if there's another flavor of people, I didn't dig that deep in.
So do you mean like our world has, we'll say, humans, and then there are humans that live in this demon city because they're allowed to, and they belong to the city as anyone else, but they
Yeah.
just aren't actually demons.
Correct.
So they have a not a truce, but a
they're allowed to be there because they, I guess, either were at the right place at the right time, and they're like, hey, don't eat us, and they're like, okay, whatever, stay here, I don't care.
There's certainly a lot that could be drawn from that. I always love when the idea of uh abyssal, demonic, infernal races being very empath focused when it comes to feeding off of emotions.
Hmm.
And so having more
That's not.
people there would certainly be something that they would want in that instance because it would be
Mhm.
good for them.
Yeah, it's not known that they can feed off of people, but
It could also be, you know what? I I love the idea of like I really do love the idea of pact bonding and like that being what caused this nation to exist. Like there
Mhm.
was a big demon at one point that was just oops summoned. And he is like,
Mhm.
this is my place now, and I'm kicking all of you out, and my people are here, and we're gonna do a thing. And then over the course of years and years and years, it became an administration like anything does.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But it has to constantly still be based in that idea of, all right, we're bound here by a certain set of rules, and those rules need to
Yeah.
continue to be reinforced in order for us to continue being here.
Mhm.
yeah,
And so the local denizens are a necessity because that's what keeps the link or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Also, demons can fuck humans. I'm making that canon, and then they can have children.
Okay.
Nice.
Tieflings or just one slash the other.
The way that I'm looking at it is these are creatures. They're referred to as like infernal or abyssal, but I would like them to just be more of a. These are more energy focused things from a different plane of existence, and as such,
Mhm.
it's not like they really care about their anatomy one for one the way that a normal thing from this realm would. It's mostly just a I'm an expression of something, and I can have offspring and I can give birth and all of that, but it doesn't necessarily matter if it's with another demon. It's not like there's compatibility issues there. I'm mostly
Yeah.
just raw mana.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, nah. That might just be too much for another like nation concept.
What you got? We're
I was
spitballing.
thinking, so since we were talking about like, a big, infernal creature was like summoning, and they're like, a um another side of that, like, could you imagine how if it was like like regular people, like there's like a civilization of just like farmers or peasants, and then a giant or you know spectacular person that they've seen that has appeared before them. I think that would cause certain simpler civilizations to maybe revere like an infernal or a demon as like a god, and then a civilization can come
You
from
might be
that.
explaining why they exist. Yeah. The one that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
y- yeah. Or that was I was saying bringing that up as an and or.
sure.
Mm.
I like it.
Because I would figure, Charles, like I brought that up because a nation that has had like synergy with infernals would definitely bump heads with a civilization that has come up revering a group as godly
It
above.
depends on what group you're talking about.
I I know
You're
Mhm.
talking angels and demons.
mm,
But not
yes,
angels.
yeah, for lack of a better term, because like
They're
what
gods and
is an
devils.
angel or a demon? Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I grok it. Okay, I like that idea. It's a good concept to have in there. But so I want them to be magically focused. Pact magic specification. And for the Spymaster Nation, Charles, what was their technology?
You mean like level or
What is their commerce level vis-a-vis magic versus tech versus magitech?
um
If they're catering to everybody, then I guess it's
yeah.
everything.
It's kind of a little bit of everything, right? Like they just excel in using whatever they got for whatever advantage they can get, honestly. Like they don't make any of this here. Like maybe they have access to all the lumber, but
I would
they're not
imagine the
the
lumber
best
comes from the
practitioners.
north, but they are the
Yeah.
trade point, so they are the place that people
Hmm.
go for it.
Right.
It's hard to
And
land an
like,
airship in a forest. I don't know if anybody's ever played a fantasy game.
yeah, exactly. And they are just there to exploit the resource, not quite to build anything out of it. But they use everything that they get. So they would have Magitech from here or there. They'd be like I said, cosmopolitan, whatever makes it easy for them, whatever combination that is. But they don't produce any of it there for sure.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Oh, did I not? Oh God, I forgot to tell you guys a whole thing. I didn't see this one even.
Oh.
So we have roughly 5 places on the map. We have a little bit blocking out of other stuff. That seems good to me for now. We can always do less or more. The thing to do is leave stuff open. Is definitely something the book tells you in spades. It's like, hey, stay vague, because then you can fill in when you're ready. Like this little crab claw, maybe that turns into just 2 things, or maybe that's not a thing at all. It's fine. All right, next up is discuss the major historical events that shaped your world into what it is. So, and everybody was supposed to pick one, and I didn't tell you all to do that. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
It's all good.
Let's see.
Well, I mean, we made a couple already. I mean,
Demon Lord
whatever
Emergence.
whatever summoned that was a big historical event because they weren't there, and whoever was there was displaced by them, I would assume, or assimilated.
I would imagine that there was a magical kingdom that was there before the demons showed up and were just like, all right, well, this is ours now.
Yeah.
And you have no way to say different because you made a big dumb weapon that created me.
Yeah.
Or pulled me here, and you don't have control
anymore.
I wrote here under that bullet point, disappearance of either a royal family or a treasure as part of, why something happened, or, I figured that was an easy, simple something to,
Oh, absolutely. Okay, yeah, I like that. Is that just generic?
There's always the disappearance of something that kicked something off. I know that's literally what you asked for, and I was like, yeah, here's the prompt. Regurgitate it back to you.
That's okay. Do we want to suss that out a little bit though? Let's see. What kind of treasure do we have, and why is it a sword?
Yeah.
Because swords are cool.
Thank you.
Excalibur.
Oh, what if it's like a really big sword? Like an inexplicably large sword that
What, in the planet?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
No.
But then no, not that big. Not that big. Ah, dang it.
That's what she said.
Like a guts size sword?
No, bigger than that.
No, like a more than someone could wield sword.
Yeah. So like like imagine if, like, I don't know, a kaiju had a sword. So like a regular size kaiju. So like a rampage style kaiju. And if something like that wielded a sword, and that sword was somehow in the planet, and then for some reason nobody knows where it went.
I see.
Left behind a scar.
Yeah, but it left a, a big enough, incident where they're like, "Oh, that's where the mighty,
I mean, they'd call it the
Oh,
sword
yeah.
scar, right? Like,
yeah."
Sure.
That's not
This
what they
is
call it in WoW, is it?
it is not what they call it in WoW, but this is exactly what happens. Almost. I
Oh.
mean, the sword's still in it.
the sword's
Right,
still
look.
there. It just kind of popped the planet a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the sword is missing,
Listen, that
and it's
sword
been so
was
long.
actually like the size of a continent. You're
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about
that's-
something that's like something a giant would wield.
Yeah,
like a 40-foot sword.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so it got dropped in. The whatever created or used it has been forgotten. It became just the sword that is there,
But it just
and
disappeared.
then and
Yeah,
now that's gone too.
inexplicably.
And we will leave that as. Actually, you know what? I'm going to shift that down. That's not a historical
Yeah,
event.
that's the
That's
next thing,
that's an enigma mystery.
Ooh,
Mm.
yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do all this stuff out of order. Charles is just like, well, that's nice for this point. I'm like, well,
I'm also
it's a
going to move the
puzzle.
disappearance of a royal family as well.
Yeah, I was like, it's a puzzle piece.
I
Look,
forgot.
I'm part of the
So
I'm part
historical
of the
event.
puzzle.
You're a puzzle piece.
Historical event is creation of airship flight.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
said that it was mechanical first.
Yes.
I also have one more concept that I was quickly trying to type down
Right.
before we started, and I don't know where it fits under.
Okay, let me know.
I think historical event is also the area, the demonic demon area. Would that
Demon Lord
summoning-
Emergence is
Yeah.
definitely one of the bullets I have there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Demon Lord Emergence sounds like the title of an anime that I would watch. But I was
Shit.
like,
What's the name of the old one? Legend of the Overfiend?
Yeah, that one.
What was the running title of
Legend
that?
of the
It had
Overlord?
some big. No, not Overlord. It's something much worse. Legend of the Overfiend had a different name, like a Japanese style title to it, but it was basically.
I don't want to.
Urotsuki Doji. There it is. Thank you, Denitra. Which I am told,
like,
if you cut out all the hentai from it, it's actually got a great plot.
It really does.
See, and this is what I was hoping to avoid. This is why I was like, nope, you don't. Yep, she knows. Yep, it's gonna. Yeah,
Well,
there you
okay, look. Okay, so
I'm just so proud of you.
this random concept was a low magic threat.
Okay.
So
we're gonna put that in threats, which is also
Yeah,
its
that's
own
later on.
category.
We can come back to it.
I'll wait.
We can come back to it.
to.
You're fine. You're
No,
fine.
allowed to do
But
We're
this.
going now.
I
We're
put
good.
this under like nation stuff, so my
Yeah,
bad.
you're good. It's fine.
No, you're good. You're good. Let's see. So we have historical events. We currently have Demon Lord Emergence. We have creation of airship flight. These do not have to be things that we've already talked about. You can just give
Yep.
an event, and then we can find a place for it. So,
I have an event.
okay.
Uh-huh.
There was old timers. They don't like the airships. Like really old timers, like old people. They don't
Okay.
like the airships.
Okay.
They like
Boats.
locomotives.
They like trains. Oh wow. Okay.
Yes.
So, but what is this as an event?
So what did they do?
I was like a old person rail strike. I was actually thinking a quote unquote race around the world, because even though an airship can access the world differently than, a ground vehicle, or
Mhm.
especially something that needs rails, there are other limitations for why the airship also struggled with this quote unquote race.
Okay, so there was a race. Okay.
Yeah. That was the event. It was a race, and I was looking at the map. That's why I was looking a little cagey. I was like, how would there be a train race around the world? But
doesn't have to be around the world. It could just be across one of the continents.
yeah.
So was it an airship race to train?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did the airship lose?
Mhm.
Did we do
No,
a
probably
tortoise and a
not.
hare? I mean,
Like,
it'd be fun for it to have lost. That's an
I mean, maybe
interesting
they're just not very
concept.
fast. Right? The propellers can only turn so fast. Wind can only, if the wind is against them, it's a lot harder than if they're a train.
yeah. Yeah, like there was like a reason. Like whenever you hear tortoise and hare stories, there's always like that reason for why the
The rabbit
newer
was an asshole, and he decided to
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. So like maybe I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe like the old timers are thinking like, oh well, yeah, you can take the airship. It'll take this, but they gotta stop like 4 times to get more.
So why was it historical? What happened?
It changed
Right.
the course of technology in the
Okay.
world. Like
It proved that airships were better.
yes,
Okay.
So this is a John Henry style story, kind of,
yeah,
because
yeah, it is. Oh my god, I have no creativity.
That's a good story. You do have creativity, and you're
Yeah.
allowed to have things that are. Listen, the idea was John Henry's a great story, and it's super cool, and he was like, American folk superhero, but also, even though he won the competition, it did still go the
He
way of
lost
the
'cause he
robot.
died.
He lost because he died, and also because industry moved on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and that's
Until unions firmly said, "Hey, stop it," and then people were like, "Okay, fine."
I guess.
I guess we'll stop sending children into the mines.
Did
for
we agree
now.
on that? I don't think we agreed on that. Just saying.
Can we talk
Yonkers
about
never
child
agreed.
labor in this
Not
Yeah,
world?
that's for
Not talking about child labor in this game is a line for me. We have to.
sure.
yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Did I
No, you're good. You're good.
Listen, this
works.
this is
Everything
a
is
fun
fine.
little thing. It's historical events are here for a reason, and they don't. Oh, let me be very clear. Historical events are not yet here for a reason. They're just historical events we can decide on. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I titled the trains. The old timers call them hell trains because they run off of steam and hot shit. I figured maybe the train industry was really popular in Yanko's
Mhm.
area.
Well, I mean, it would make
but
sense. What with the tunnels?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Cool. All right, so we have that. Any other historical events that we had?
Like you said, we had the whatever the heck, why there's demons.
Mhm.
There's got to be a reason why Toria eventually went to the sky. I don't know what that is though.
The
Yeah,
lifting
we could
of
say that they were.
Thoria.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't always a sky-based city.
Yeah.
It would make more sense for it to have in fact been an actual like city on a mountain that suddenly just went one day, or over the
Mhm.
course of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their souls
And
did
could
not
be
want to be
increasing.
weighted down by gravity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What'd you say,
Nice.
Philip?
Yeah, and it could be that maybe it's not even finished yet. Like whatever's lifting them up is still continuing.
Kind of like how a mountain range forms over the course of many, many years and gets taller, and then till it.
Mhm.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, I mean that's for historical events, so we've met our quota.
Yep.
As far as enigmas and mysteries now, what are the great enigmas and mysteries of the world? So
So
actually,
we got the giant sword.
Hmm.
Yeah, first up was the giant sword.
questions left
The
unanswered and truths
disappearance
from
of a giant sword.
Yes, yes.
and the truths that are now indistinguishable from legends. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say that these are fine. These feel like, I think the enigmas and mysteries of the world should be a little bit more like game defining too, though. So while
Sure.
it's fun to have these as side things as well, um, let's figure out like big mysteries. Charles, you brought up
Well,
one earlier. I'm gonna steal from you.
mm,
Resurrection magic.
yeah, sure.
We'll say
Um,
that it's what once proven possible, never duplicated, right?
yeah, that makes sense. Um, I had an enigma that is also a threat, and I'm just bringing it from another one of my favorite games, and I don't know where to put it.
Okay.
But what if there is some sort of, this is why I said winter is coming later, some sort of lunatic Pandora lunar tier surge of monsters during some time, and nobody knows why, but adventurers have to deal with it, right? I don't know where, don't know why, but there's a surge, this cyclical surge of monsters that nobody knows, or creatures or demons or whatever else,
Mm-hmm.
that nobody knows why, but we got to deal with it.
Would it always be in the
Like,
same place?
maybe, or maybe it's traveling, or maybe it's related. Maybe it's like a blight in Dragon Age where it's mostly this area, but sometimes it spreads out. Just to give you the most meat to hold on to with that idea. I mean, I didn't really think of exactly why, like, because the original, I'm
Yeah,
thinking of
sure.
Final Fantasy VIII, it came from the moon, kind of, somewhat,
That was a hell of a
Moon.
CG.
kind of, yeah. I mean, it came because of the pillar, though, and that's very obviously why it happened.
Oh
So
yeah, but monsters come from the moon, and like
yeah,
they get down there anyway. But like the lunatic Pandora
yeah,
amplifies that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know why. Here we
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah.
Right.
It's there are monster surges, and I like leaving that a little open. Let's leave that one vague.
Sure, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I like that idea because it's very, easy to use. But
Mhm.
also it's one of those things that like begs an economy, which I like.
Yeah.
Because at that
Yeah.
point, then you have a hunters guild because you specifically need to
Mhm.
have people whose job it is to be like, a surge is occurring here. We need to go.
We need to go help that out.
Yeah.
It gives cyclical reason for mercenaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. What do the nations do about it? Do they even care? It's not on my land. It has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Or is there a nation who's like, yeah, no, we exist to do that, right?
Yeah. Like
Because it's close to us.
bulwark
I don't
nation.
know. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. I like that. I'm gonna put that in enigmas and mysteries. We'll double that up in threats. So we currently have missing treasure, disappearance of royal family, resurrection magic, lunatic Pandora monster surge. What else do we have for enigmas and mysteries? Things that beg the question why.
Uh, could there be just springboarding off of previous concepts
Mm-hmm.
that I brought up? Like, there's always, especially in adventures, or there's a town that was there and everybody knows that it existed, but now it's gone. You go to that place and there's like,
Crater?
yeah, like a crater, like somebody just took it. Or maybe you go to this land, this, there's still city, but everybody is gone. Like there's no outskirts, so nobody can tell you what happened.
Oh, just like this, everything remains. Like was
Got
here in Virginia,
Langolier.
Jamestown.
Yeah, they got like, yeah, something like that. Like there is a mystery where it's just like this entire, everybody's gone or everything's gone, and they're like, okay, I don't know what's more like intriguing. Like you go to like where's Atlanta? There's a crater there, or you go where, okay, Atlanta's here, but where is everybody? It's Atlanta.
I like that
So
idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more enigma-y, but
I would
Mm-hmm.
I would
You can-
ask that we just cut that a little bit broader cloth and say missing villages or missing like just
villagers.
We could even do, but like have it be something that is not just once happened. It's happened multiple times.
Yeah, I have an idea for that again.
Or you could there's a movie and I can't think of the name of it. Natalie Portman. Where like they're walking through an area and it does appear to be like people, but they're like crystals or they're some kind of nature.
That's
like
science
it's
movie.
a neat. Yeah.
Can't think of what
it's like absolution or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she sees like what looks like people, but it's just like it looks like nature statues, and they're like, "Huh, that's really weird."
That is really weird and spooky.
Yeah, so it's like this. All of the structures remain, and then there just appear to be like, natural structures that are of people still around, and it's like it's affecting different places. Smaller outskirt villages or whatever. So whether it's like a fungal thing that's taking over and killing them, or something along those.
Gotcha. Okay. Wait, are you saying this is a tie-in to like Denitra's thing?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I mean, if they could be disappearing, or they could be like, oh shit, they're not just like leaving. Like this looks like the people might have turned into something.
I wrote Junji Ito Garden with a question mark.
Yeah, you
go. Okay.
Exactly.
I think that about covers it. Is
James,
person
James,
or is installation of art? Who knows? What was that, Denitra?
I DM'd you something, James. Don't say it out loud, but that was what I was thinking.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good reason why, right?
Why are you like this?
No, I'm just gonna say no.
You don't know. It
could
might
be really
cool.
good, Charles.
Yeah. He's always shooting down my ideas. Every time it's like, that exists already. Denitra, that's Chrono
I love
Trigger.
that. Denitra, like John Henry. Damn it.
You know what? I'm glad it's happening here. Do you know how many times that's happened in class? Like my script writing classes. It's been very embarrassing.
I'm sorry to hear that. But also, everything's repeated. Everything's permissible.
Yeah.
So. All right. So, next up, we are looking at more threats. We have Lunatic Pandora. Threats are caster shadow over the world, environmental disasters, furious deities, power-hungry empires, or perhaps even clouds of corrupting miasma that are enveloping and consuming the land. We love Tales of the Abyss. Each person at the table should contribute a threat, preferably something that is endangering the future of entire nations. The game master will base a majority of their villain and antagonists on these worldwide threats. I want to say right now, I don't want the Demon Lord to be a threat. I want them to be a fixed point on the narrative that does not need to be resolved.
Yeah, no, we're not racist here. Just because they're a demon lord, that doesn't mean they're,
where they're from doesn't make them evil.
You already told me that they can mate with humans, so I don't want to be
fuckable,
right.
Which.
So the one that I came up with, two. I thought of a second one in the middle of this, but
we can do as many as you want.
What if there is a insect species, right? That is like, oh, hey, they were a thing, and like, I'll just kill them, get rid of them, and they've started to like rapidly evolve, and so they are becoming more and more humanoid in their attempts to fight back against their, like, they just get progressively more and more human and warlike, because it's like, oh yeah, they're just some bugs, kill them, and then it's like, wait, now they're a lot smarter and they're bigger, like not necessarily bigger, but like
I'm doing my part.
Well, similar, but like they're a response because we tried to kill them, and now they're like, oh, well, fine. We've started this war.
Philip, can I just say, have you ever watched Hunter x Hunter?
So yes, like kind of like that guy, but it's actually from a different book series that I like.
Oh, okay. I mean, hey, listen,
Uh,
I love recycling shit, but I do want to tell an anecdote real quick about the Chimera Ant arc. I watched that with my wife, and she loved Hunter x Hunter until it got to the Chimera Ant arc, which is arguably, according to a lot of people, the best arc of Hunter x Hunter. She hated it. She hated it so much. She was the biggest unfan. And I think it's funny because we just finished watching Solo Leveling, and there is an arc that has to do with ants that are like super powerful, and the queen ant gives birth to this super powerful sun king ant, basically. And so Tiki was having the best time watching Solo Leveling with me, and I just looked her dead in the eyes and I said, hey, this is exactly like the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter. She's like, you've ruined it. Why would you ruin it?
Isn't
Right,
the
we
but
need to
from Hunter x
watch
Hunter?
more of that.
Hunter x Hunter,
Isn't it
they
like
basically
isn't
they
he?
evolve by eating things, right? What you're saying
Yeah.
is it's like the idea of a cockroach, or at least the concept that's been explained to me of cockroaches, fast evolution, which is whenever one of them emits a hey something killed me, all of them swarm that thing, and then the one that lives is like, haha, now I'm immune, and he runs off
Yeah.
and keeps reproducing. And then they come back and they're like, try killing us again. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, and it would be like a steady progression of enemies rather than just like oh hey look, a bad one giant human bug that's really strong. It's like, oh, these creatures are not really a problem. And then like people don't take them seriously, and so they evolve more powerful, becoming more human like, or whatever creature, demon like, anything. They could be a mixture of those things.
Yeah.
Take, and you could run into different shapes. Like maybe they try becoming like centaurs because it's the speed is what like they think helps them, and that doesn't work. And then they become
wait, I remember
flying.
this other series now. Yeah, okay, I think I know where's this coming from, Philip, if you don't mind me.
Furies of Calderon.
Oh, I was thinking Terraform Mars.
Oh,
is another one.
No.
It has to do with cockroaches.
Okay. Yeah. This one is just like it basically like there's a bug that they need and the main character touches it and it like he infuses it with humanish DNA or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the insects start building up to human levels, and eventually they become a humanoid city, and are like trying to expand. They're keeping the bug mindset, but
with human capabilities. I get it. Okay, cool. Yeah. I think that would definitely be a world level threat. Always killed me in Hunter x Hunter, by the way. The idea that Chimera ants existed as a thing that was just a normal little ant is like, who would ever know? The minute that one of them got any other thing, suddenly they are enormous, fast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, they can just.
I like the idea of a head ass evolution race. It's just like, oh fuck, fire hurts. Hey everybody, come stand in this fire. All right, you're good, Bob. You have a good one, man. I'm melting.
Yep. Yeah, so they can. I don't know. There could be some kind of intellect behind it that is trying to like force them to go in a certain way and like directing them, and
like some very sickly child with a patch on him.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna do that.
That's
Final Fantasy 14.
Next question.
And the other idea was sort of like a very aggressively growing nature, sort of a green tide.
A nature's wrath, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, like those environmentalists that are really dangerous. So like poison ivy.
Like poison ivy, yeah.
Yes. But it's purely nature. There's no
Bruce,
there's
let
no
me kill the
behind
billionaire. No, he's super nice.
So yeah. just going into the area becomes dangerous. Airships can get pulled into it. Like they'll try and fly over it, and it'll just like grab them and like pull them under, and basically they sink into a forest. See wreckages.
Yeah.
From the treetops.
Could you imagine there's like a little ship graveyard, but it's, entangled
like a
in like
topiary.
vines. Yeah, yeah. Like it's really nice. Like if you walk through it at your own peril, it's quite, it's quite nice, but don't fly over that area or, plants. Something like that.
Yeah. Although I would imagine that it would probably also it would eat people as well. So
like
it could be more.
At the beginning of Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one forest, the petrification forest.
It's called the Evil Forest.
Okay, Blank is still a fucking rock. I don't know.
No, yeah, I know. For my threats or my threat, the way that I wrote this, unwashed, germ-focused civilization that uses science for a lot of biological warfare, but in within the constraints of the science of this world. What we establish is like the science. Like, how would you make a dirty bomb and you're in the steampunk era? You know what I mean? I have a couple of ideas for that, but I don't know if that would actually work for some sort of big threat.
I feel like this is you getting narrative revenge on stinky con goers, but also I'm here for it.
I didn't think about it that way, but you know what? That will make me fight even harder, so
fair enough. All right. So like a germ-focused biowarfare, like a civilization of that, or like a group?
I was thinking civilization, but a group, probably because I wouldn't know how big of a scope that would be. Because like, why would an entire nation be focused on that? You know what I mean?
The only thing that I could think is like because first off, germ warfare and things like that is a very strong scientific threat that could very easily scale up to nation level threat. But like having a whole nation of that, I feel like that would implode so quickly. My brain can't comprehend a nation being able to stand doing that.
No, I think they'd all die of tuberculosis before they launched the first
they die of
attack.
dysentery. But I like the idea of like a bio warfare, like a terrorist group.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Masks.
Charles, what you got?
Oh, my
you
threat
already gave
was
us a
the
monster
lunatic
surge.
Pandora. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one that I thought of. Just that cyclical monster threat somewhere. I don't know. There's a lot of we haven't done a lot of underground threats, but I guess the monster surge could be that. But maybe there is a threat, one of those dug too greedily and too deep, a nebulous threat down there. I don't know exactly how we would want to play that because that would be kind of regional to Yonkos. Or maybe it's like spilling out because they are exploring further, pushing into other people's territories. Maybe there's tremors or something that they can't explain.
Okay. So wait, who would not be able to push out into the
like Yonkos, they're digging underground and they found some sort of threat. And they don't say anything about it, but it's starting to affect that demon-led country, where they overlap. Maybe like a sinkhole or something happened, and this is one of those. All right, well, why is it? Is it Yonkos? Did they find something else? Is it naturally occurring? Why is this happening here? it's threatening to swallow whole cities, or it's just very annoying. There are tremors and there didn't used to be, and they're definitely magical in nature or something.
Yeah. That sounds good. I like that. There are also like roll tables. I'm like scrolling through them right now that
For
are
sure.
able to be used.
Mhm.
But now I want us to we've stayed a long time on the world creating, which is good
Yep.
because it needs a lot of time. But also, let's move on to group creation.
Gotcha.
And if anybody has anything else, please let me know. We can go back. Group creation, unlike the creation process for your game world, group creation isn't particularly structured. In fact, it's mostly about establishing a fundamental themes of your early adventures. When you select a group type, you are saying, hey, this is how we want to explore the world we just created. We really like our shared story to mostly focus on these aspects. Additionally, your choice of group will inform the kind of heroes you will make during the next step of Session 0. Don't take it as a restriction. Instead, see it as a useful reference to go back to whenever you are unsure about your character concepts. You can even give your group a name, like the Brotherhood of the Griffin or the Queen Shields. If you are the game master, me, treat this step as a precious opportunity to learn what. Okay, you don't get to read that. That's just for me. I'm kidding. Nothing in this book. Everything in this book, they say, hey, share it with your players. It doesn't matter.
It's
opportunity
fine.
to learn what kind of situation, stories, and antagonists everyone's excited about. Agree. So there are a few that they just give as groups. So I'm just gonna shotgun the group names and kind of what they are. Brought together by fate. That's we met not in a tavern doing something, right? Common trope. This is you find yourself working together because of circumstance. Despite this being a common trope, it's actually the most difficult to pull off since your group can lack precise goals. If you choose this premise, it may be a good idea to switch to a different type of group once your characters have developed a common goal. But what are emotional familial connections? Have your characters met in the past? What do you have in common? The next one is Guardians. One of the players is a chosen one, a person tasked with a mission that could change the very fate of the world. Everyone else in your group has sworn by duty or choice to protect the chosen one. It is a Yuna. It is a Colette. It is a whatever the girl who is basically Yuna or Colette from Grand Blue's name is.
Yeah, the one that doesn't wear shoes.
The one that don't wear shoes or anything but a cute little dress and then just kind of cries at things and makes it better.
Yeah. Or Usagi.
Yeah. A person tasked with mission, blah, blah, blah. What bonds, ties, or rivalries exist between each guardian and the chosen one? What is your mission? Who gave it to you? Do the authorities approve it? And why does the chosen one need protection? Who or what threatens their mission? Heroes of the Resistance. This is your standard tale of, hey, you're Avalanche. Or no, that's wrong. This isn't that. You're the last line of defense against a terrible power, a darkness that threatens to envelop the known world, such as a power-hungry kingdom, an oppressive empire. The fate of many lies in your hands. And then so it's basically you're a last line of defense style group. There's also revolutionaries. This is your Avalanche. You form a small force that fight tooth and nail against a dominant power. And then there's Seekers. You were desperately searching for something or someone, a powerful witch, an ancient relic, a legendary location, something like that. You are out on quest. Did any of those strike
y'all's possibility? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is it a possibility to overlap? Because couldn't you do Seeker and Chosen One? Like, couldn't
Yeah, you can have, so these are not the themes for your individual characters either. Like someone in the group can be on their own personal quest for something, but also having a chosen one in the group is mostly like a group layout kind of format saying we're all here because of this one person. And in the book, I think it also does say, hey, the player doesn't choose this, the group does. So if you have a character like this, you go out of your way to all go, hey, are we all chill with this layout? Because, summoner journeys are fun.
Yeah. And with those summoner journeys, or at least Yuna's, they got like one straggler who joined for whatever reason, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like this is not a narrative restriction. This is just a layout option.
Yeah, a little A nice little skeleton or a
Mhm.
potential skeleton.
Yeah.
Just
I
helping
think
you have a narrative vehicle.
So I think just to start to narrow it down, I think Guardians, Heroes of the Resistance, or Seekers.
Okay.
Anybody hate any of those three?
Nope.
It sounded, Denitra, like you were interested in almost a combination of Guardians and Seekers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sounds fine to me. I mean, putting those together could go in any direction, really. You know, like the chosen one could be the thing, you know, like, or searching for this for the chosen one, or the chosen one just has to be there along the way. You know, they are the ones who can see the thing, you know. So it doesn't have to quite be exactly like, you know, the chosen one is the only one who could do the thing. They might just be able to find the thing.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
So it's really open to whatever characters we make.
also, if it is a Guardians chosen one kind of scenario, it doesn't have to be one of the player characters who is the chosen one. Especially in this small
Mhm.
of a group, you can just have an NPC that is also traveling with you. That tends to be fine, especially in most situations. For example, Grand Blue Fantasy, you can't ever play as that girl
Yeah, with no
Yeah.
shoes.
with no
She has
shoes.
no
Okay.
shoes. She can't
She's just
fight.
there. She's not one of the player characters. Ion is very much a chosen one in a travel story who does not get to feature. So,
Yeah, sounds
and
good to me.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So, a little bit of Guardians and
Although,
Seekers is what we're looking at. So, questions that we
Mhm.
want to
although it
ask.
looks like
Mhm.
a lot of the threats we made are seem like they might be more for the Heroes of Resistance.
Yeah.
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 But I think that just goes with any type of, there's gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
resistance no matter.
I would say that for that, basically, I would say the difference between any of the others and the Heroes of the Resistance is Heroes of the Resistance, you're saying there will be one thing we're focused on stopping.
Okay.
And we're going to start with that because we're already on our back foot.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
Like a very in media res opening of everything's bad and it could only get worse. So, whereas I think that the way that you all have made this world, at least currently, there's a lot of
Hmm.
chance for travel and seeking and like a guardian style journey, like an avatar's journey, that
Mhm.
doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily have to involve immediately going and front loading a threat. So,
Okay.
but all on the table. So,
Yeah.
next up we have character creation, which I believe you all have already done a bit of.
Mhm.
So, just to walk through it, so for anybody who's watching for edification on this system, grab a blank character sheet. This might look like something you can do on your own. It is actually better for all participants to go through this step together. While each hero
Mhm.
belongs to the person controlling them, these characters are destined to adventure together, which means they should have some chemistry. Character creation is presented as a series of steps similar to world creation. You are not, however, bound to take these steps in an exact order. You can go back and modify your choices anytime during the process. So we can just go through the steps and list out what these are for the characters that you all have in mind and see where we get from there. Create your character's identity, which is a short sentence that briefly summarizes how they see themselves at the moment.
Okay.
So I am not sure which one to go with. Like I said, I made a couple
Yeah.
characters
Sure.
because I was like, well, I don't know what we might need or want or whatever. So
Do you want to do the Charles and just go second or third? That's fine.
Mhm. Yeah, I could go first because I have a concept that I'm like, you know what? I do want to do that one. Yes, I did make 5 or 6 of them. Yes, I did.
But you found a
But there
favorite.
was one that I was like, yeah, there's one that's a favorite. So identity wise,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that I'm following. So short sentence.
Yep.
It's the best one that I could figure out is funnily it has seeker in the name, so it might be useful here. So basically a rune etched seeker. Um, this is a person, and James and I talked about this a little bit, does not know their actual origin. They just know they have some sort of rune magic, and they're trying to figure out why. They woke up in the dungeon, and that's about all they know starting. But they're trying to figure out, okay, so rune magic, that's about all I know. I need to find out more about that to find out why I am the way that I am.
Okay.
Kind of like a forgotten
I have another
something or other.
I have another question for you all based on
Sure.
that statement. Not exactly based on that statement, but based on me thinking of something. And how gamified do you want this world to be? On on the nose wise.
Not sure what you mean.
So one of the tropes that's currently popular in a lot of anime is for there to be a level style progression / rules system that is in place intrinsic to the world where people are adventuring.
I
like
see.
they know what level they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any interest in that sort of thing, or like for there to be any on the nose like I for one like a little bit of genre savvy when it comes to this is an adventuring party. This is a this kind of hero, right?
I think that maybe some sort of magical scouter type thing could work in this situation. Everybody has magic.
Like a scrying eye?
Yeah, like some way to figure out the level of magic or some sort of ranking system. So you take the levels and you don't really be exactly on the nose, but you be close to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. That was just something that I thought up because when you said starts in the dungeon, my brain immediately went to all of those anime or manhwas or everything where it's like the dungeon is a setting that is a trope that is known within the system of that's where the monsters spawn, and they'll actually say spawn.
Yeah.
Right. Well, just to talk about it there, we were talking about quirks. So I looked at quirks. And the one that I saw was called Underchild. And it's basically just you are some sort of person who is not normal and you were found in a ruin. And that's basically it. And with that, you're trying to figure out what's happening and it gives you some stuff. And we'll go into that. But I really like that idea.
I really do love the termination state of this particular.
Oh, sure. The way the quirk ends.
Quirks are fun in this game, yeah, because quirks, a lot of them can just be like, you get a neat thing, or you do this, or you do that. But some of them are like, there is a clock that is forever a part of your character that slowly gets filled in as you find more and more answers to your character's mystery. And then you solve it and something cool happens or something terrifying happens.
Could be either. But so that's why when I kind of looked at it and looked at the names, it's like I just have, intricate runes along a very humanoid body, but not quite human, right? Definitely other.
Right.
That was found in a dungeon, a ruin, or whatever. So that's why I was saying kind of the rune inscribed seeker.
Got it. Okay. Denitra.
So just like a couple of sins about.
Yeah, we didn't really get to there.
Yeah,
I have a couple of ideas though.
Sure.
This person is a detective or like private eye by trade. They are very observant. They are a traveler. And they have left where they came from because of something that they are uncomfortable talking about, but oh shoot, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to be like super vague because I do actually have some like stuff. I'm just like I don't know if it's gonna
I have
actually manifest, you know?
okay. I have private investigator walking briskly from their past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Not running, but not
yeah.
exactly a jog, but certainly
Yeah.
Yeah.
a strong
And they're
walk
not looking back. They're just like, oh yeah, just when you're trying to walk away and
this
not
way.
draw attention to yourself
Yeah,
quickly,
yeah.
you're just like, oh. So yeah, I'll nail down actually like what uh where they left as we, get more into the weeds of the setting. But they have a helper that helps them with their investigations.
Okay.
Detective Pikachu.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't
mean,
Yeah,
don't
technically-
yeah, for
listen.
lack of a
Don't
better
listen to
term.
them. You have a great idea. Keep going.
Thank,
It's
thank
the
you,
person.
James.
The person is the helper.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu is the main character. He has
Yeah.
a person that is his helper.
I know, but you're not supposed to say that out loud and then make me sick. I'm like, oh god, it is just this. Don't do this to me. Let me get it out first, and then be
Well,
like,
you already knew it was already a character, and it wasn't that one.
Listen, if you guys don't think, you all remember
Yeah.
what I did, right?
For
This book is chock full of just a bunch of fucking tropes that I love.
Mhm.
And I've just written them all out because I'm going to be stealing from them mercilessly as we play.
you're
so-
not stealing your bar. It's a homage.
You need to tell
Yeah.
yourself that,
Yeah.
not him.
No. Listen, I don't listen. I'm gonna put Quistis in this game. She's gonna have a green outfit. That's it.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh.
She's just gonna
So
be.
she has a fan
whip-
club.
Yeah.
Can
And
I
she's
be
gonna
part of the can my character be part of the fan club?
100%.
Oh my gosh, are they an urban legend?
See, this is what I'm talking about. We can just do shit. It doesn't matter. It's our game.
Mhm.
Everyone at home, remember, it's your game. You can just do shit. It doesn't matter if you think it's like derivative or you think that you're doing something that someone else has done. No, you're not. You're gonna put your own spin on it. You're gonna have a great time doing it. Just have fun. Fuck.
Yeah, you know
It's
what?
so
Yeah, you're
easy.
right. You're right. I will.
Now tell me
I
about your
will
Detective
try.
Pikachu.
Sorry, Raido Kuzunoha
Yes,
from Devil Summoner.
yes. That was who the basis was.
Actually, kind of sick though.
So yeah, we're going to attempt to do a cooler character who knows
He's
knows
smart
how
and shit.
serious.
Yeah, but you got your identity then.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So, Philip, what do you got? I heard magical girl and superhero.
Yeah, so one of them was sort of the former Phantom of Justice. Does anyone know the story of the Phantom?
Yes.
So it's that idea that he's the former, like it's a long lineage of a superhero, and so they are believed to be an immortal person, but it's just because it passes down through the family line, and so he either failed or died or whatever, and so now he's out, and it's his child is now supposed to be the real one. So he's like,
This guy sounds like he is so coded for existing in Spy World.
well, yeah, he's like, I pictured him sort of like a broken, wounded ninja.
Oh yeah,
Like
I'm
he's
just
missing his
thinking like
arm.
the kind of people when I'm looking at this setting and I'm thinking about someone who would rooftop. I'm thinking of the nation that Charles set up.
Yes.
Sure.
Because that's the kind of place where someone in a mask would be going around punching people for doing stupid shit. At least that's in my brain.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah. So like I was thinking like he lost his arm or something, and so now he has a prosthetic. And so he is an amazing fighter, but he's lower now because he's super drunk.
Okay.
he's got a prosthetic arm, so he has to like get a better arm. He had a special weapon, and it was broken or part of the seal's gone. The magic's gone.
Okay.
So his level up would be getting back to what he was.
Sure. You've intentionally deleveled your character. You've locked Jade in the little Rubik's cube of stupid that they threw at him.
So yeah.
So former. Can I get that phrase again? Sorry.
Former Phantom of Justice. That was my first idea. Second idea was for a mechanical dancer.
Huh.
They're all status elements, so, and a healer. So
cool. All right. So those are the identities. Now you have to choose or create your character's theme. A strong ideal, emotion, or feeling that dominates your character's actions. Charles?
Yeah, so there's a list for this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Sorry.
No, you're good. And I just wanted to, the one that I had for my character is belonging, because they are afraid of being alone, forgotten, or abandoned, because it happened once before. But also, what the hell am I? Am I one of you? Are there more of me? Am I one of you who was experimented on? I don't know. Want to find that place where they can belong.
All right. In that case, that's good. Charles, I have a silly question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you our chosen one? Do you think?
I don't know.
Oh, you are
a rune-etched child who does not know where they're from, seeking a place.
Yeah. Now,
that is very chosen one-esque.
Yeah, but I was also thinking like Grandia too. There's a robot who is just part of the group who goes, "Yeah, I'm just a robot," and then you find out later, spoilers, that's just mass produced. You're not special. Like, so it could be either way. It's just you are one that woke up. So either way, I would, it's up to the group.
Okay.
But I just wanted to have a bunch of hooks so that if it was that, then sure. If it was that there's someone who understands the technology and they're the chosen one,
sure.
I don't know.
All right.
But yeah, it could be.
I was just, as you were saying that, I was like, wait, you've actually almost made a chosen one archetype, funnily enough. Philip.
Yeah, I was thinking like Terra from 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I was thinking Terra or BB,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
In June, those sets come out.
Mm-hmm.
So much less money. All right. Philip, theme.
So I don't know. At first I was thinking like guilt for not being the Phantom of Justice anymore, like having to pass it on to the child and being like, no, they shouldn't have to do this, because like I'm sure he's super wounded, covered in scars, lost his arm. But then there's also sort of like duty, like he spent all this time training for that, and now he's like, oh, I guess I'm just a drunk because I'm not that person anymore. And he's like, maybe I should get out there and keep using my skills to stop bad people. I feel like anger is too cliche, so I didn't want that one. But
I want to just double check something for themes real quick. I would say remember what it says underneath the suggested themes. Just like with your identity, pick something that will prove useful in play, and remember that you will be able to change your theme over the course of the game. But themes are what you reference to be able to spend Fabula points.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to want to make sure that these are something that will be actionable by your character.
Okay.
Honestly, justice is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like while I understand your character's like the idea being that you are no longer the Phantom of Justice can still be the identity, whereas the theme having justice as your theme does kind of also still make sense because your character would have a strong sense of justice for everything that they see around them.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think that would be great for like fighting things. I was just thinking as like a person,
Mm-hmm.
like they were sort of that grimdark idea that they're still kind of in their own head about either failing or not being anymore.
Okay. Well, so
That's
like
why I was sort of torn.
it's a fair thing to be torn
Yeah.
about. I would say that like duty is you live to fulfill a promise you made or obey an order you received. So promise you made, I guess, being the Phantom is a thing that you
But yeah,
could
it's
do.
it's almost like a because it's just birthright. When my parent, whichever one, because it doesn't have to be male or female, whichever one was it, they got too old to do it, and then I had to do it,
Yeah.
and then now I am unable to do it, so my kid has to do it.
I would say
Almost
if
like
you
a curse.
yeah, I would say if you were going for guilt, I would want it to have been something other than just something that fell on you. I would feel like guilt is usually associated with directly impacting someone else, right? So whereas you're
Mhm.
like, well, I made it so that the next person in line had something happen to them, I would also recommend maybe it be like, and then something bad happened to them
Yeah.
because they weren't ready. Or but it's just a question of making sure that because your theme is like a very strongly tied to what your character is going to be doing heroically thing.
Okay.
So
Then yeah, I guess I'll go with justice.
you think? Okay. And you can change that on the fly as we figure out how the characters play and how it works.
Yeah. So somewhere between either justice or duty, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Denitra, what is your theme?
So, like with Philip, I'm conflicted between two of the themes. I figured since this is a detective character,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's uh, it's a toss up between doubt and justice because
Mm-hmm.
the doubt, like being an investigator, being somebody who is sneaking and finding out things. What if there is like this big question that needs to be answered, or maybe and as far as the justice angle, somebody who does do a lot of investigation is like, wow, there's a lot of bad stuff, I need to take care of that, how can I take care of that? So I'm in between those two themes.
I would skew you towards not sharing a theme.
Yeah.
And I think doubt is a great theme for someone who's an investigator.
Okay.
But
I
I'm open
I
to
have
interpretation one way or the other.
yeah, I have ideas now since I may obscure or obfuscate my theme, so that
Okay.
gives me more.
Alrighty. Next up we have Origin.
Hey, now that we have a map, it does not help me because I'm from a dungeon.
Mhm.
Oh,
I mean,
you have to find out where that dungeon was, right?
sure, yeah. So, and I mean that
Or
I
add a
would
new one.
defer to you. Yeah, I would defer to you, James, if it makes sense for the start, for it to be a local to wherever we start. Um, the character has magic that is around, but it's just old and probably not the magic technology of today.
So
Um,
found when, if you don't mind.
yeah, so that's a great question. In my mind, I was thinking within a year or two, enough time to kind of get out, understand that they are different, understand that they don't really remember anything, but know that they have an aptitude for magic technology and magic and technology in general,
Uh-huh.
and then go into tinkering because that was one of the classes that I was going to take at the start.
Okay.
So trying to figure out, okay, so then what if this is the technology, let me learn it so I can learn what mine is.
I would
So
it's
go ahead.
very funny. Honestly, all of your characters as I'm looking at them skew towards Spy Nation.
Sure.
you for a hub for magic and technology, Denitra for being an investigator, which is basically just an honest spy, and Philip for just being a noir character, and that's the most noir part of the setting that I can think of.
Sure.
Yeah, I was hoping to have my character sort of have like a hidden mansion. It's like in their family line, and one of those little islands off the coast of Spy Nation would be perfect.
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, maybe I was in your basement.
Is this the Quiver or the Bat Cave?
Yeah, you could have just found me in your basement. Who knows?
You inherited a house. There's a dude in the basement. I don't know,
I don't know what the hell that is.
he's been down there.
Oh no, I mean the idea is that it's like it's a family mansion.
Yeah, and you go down there, you inherit a mansion, and they're like, "Why is there a guy
in a ruin?" Or it doesn't have to be.
That's cool.
But that's doable. So a ruin. I hate to have called that for all of you. Please, by all means, speak up if you feel like your characters would be from other places. It's just one of those things where, as I was looking at it, I was like, wait, all of you literally chose characters that make sense to start in the same place.
Right.
Yep.
Like
independent.
They would definitely get to there.
Yeah. So
works.
I think. Yeah, Charles, did you show up in Philip's basement?
Maybe. Just because the next thing we're going to talk about is classes anyway.
Yeah.
So the mix that I was thinking of, because we get to pick 2 to 3, and I was looking in all of the book.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be annoying.
Yeah.
No, because there was some fun ones. So
there's some good stuff.
2 levels.
I can't recommend the stuff from the high fantasy book just because it's going to make your head spin if you don't know the setting yet.
It's tough, and I did I dabbled it a little bit because that's the whole symbol or rune magic. But so 2 levels of Tinkerer for infusions, because whatever this character was before can manipulate the elements, all of them. So that's why mutability is the thing about this character, which is why I keep saying they, because it doesn't matter. They can kind of change their parts. Right? It's literally that they are infusing themselves with this runic energy. So 2 levels of Tinkerer to do that sort of thing. 2 levels of Symbologist, but it's Symbolist. I don't like Symbolist. I like symbology or symbology. But anyway,
we'll do Symbologist too. We're allowed to change a word if we want.
So this just gives you a couple of spells that you literally use inventory points to put a symbol on someone, and then it does something.
Cool.
Like debuff, buff, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And then the 1 level of the last class, and this is where the mutability comes in, is of mutant from tech fantasy. So basically, it is the only thing that I picked for 1 level is being able to change your unarmed strikes to a bow or a firearm or a throne or a dagger or a sword or whatever. They're literally some sort of Swiss Army knife for some reason.
Gotcha.
So, and later on, you go into more like literal changes in them because of whatever, right? Whatever the reason that they exist. Are they some sort of conduit between energies? Are they a weapon? Are they a protocol droid? Who knows, right?
Right.
So that's the class mix that I was thinking of, right? I got to put it in front of you first.
Sure.
But that is why they are a Tinkerer, because they want to know more about whatever the heck they are. The symbolism came from just wherever their power comes from. And the mutant is the biggest portion, that they are kind of a shifter.
Gotcha.
But in the Magitech way instead of the kind of druid way.
And your arm doesn't suddenly become a gun, like a organic gun. It's like you're able to conjure up some sort of technology.
Yes. Right, exactly. Like in some way, like the way that it's done is not really like changing into a Mega Buster, like I was saying. Like it doesn't change into a Mega Buster. It's just you can manipulate energy at that distance, right? Or
Right.
whatever. Like we can work together to figure that out.
Yeah, sure.
That's cool.
That all sounds good. All right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Anything else for that?
Nope. I think that's that next step, which is the levels classes.
Yep. So, Philip, what do you have for your levels?
So I put Fury. Took 2 of those.
Mhm.
Took the ability to provoke, trying things to fight me. Adrenaline, so that when I'm at below half health, I deal extra damage.
Mm-hmm.
I did one in entropy magic for a spell,
Mhm.
which I'm not sure where that is listed.
Oh, you might have to like go into the
You might have to
edit.
pick it on your spell
Oh, there
sheet.
it is. Acceleration. You bend the fabric of time. Until the spell ends, the target gains the ability to perform a single additional action. Once the target has performed 2 total actions. So basically, it's his ability to be faster than everyone around him. It's how he can, I guess, sort of like, it's what makes him like a superhero or a vigilante or whatever, is that he's able to, you think you see him and then he gets in front of you really fast, or
Yeah,
he can fight really well.
cool.
So that's just the one spell. That brings me to 3. And then 2 in Weapon Master for counterattack. If and what is Bone Crusher, so that if someone, I can, instead of dealing damage, I can inflict a status.
Right. I think you still deal damage. You just don't deal a die, right? I don't remember.
Well, so when you hit one or more targets with a melee attack that would deal damage, you may have the attack deal no damage, and I can inflict daze on each target hit, or inflict weak on each target, or each target loses 10 MP.
Gotcha.
So, because yeah, there's the hinder ability, which would let me hit one target with the status effect. So this one, I guess, just lets me do it using my weapon skills rather than whatever the hinder skills are.
Sounds good.
And then counterattack is anytime I either hit or miss, if the result was an even number, I get a free attack.
Yeah, you get an attack back. That one's pretty cool. All right, Denitra, what are your 5 levels?
I have them over here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So when we were talking about, of course, being a detective, she wants to be lore master. So at least you'll have one of those. It's always nice.
Yep.
At least it seems to be always nice. So 3 levels of lore master.
Oof. A solid number of levels in that really fucking cool class.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what it does, just to go through, right? The first thing that she picked was Flash of Insight, so that you can, if you roll a 13 or higher on a check performed to investigate a creature item location, you get to ask the game master up to 1 question right now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. So you ask questions about them, and you have to answer truthfully.
Truthfully, yep.
Yep. The next one is Knowledge of Power, which is just making you more accurate. You get to use Insight instead of one of the die on an attack.
Truly their most versatile special ability that they get. But now tell me why the third one is Mind Palace.
It is trained memory, yes. I think it's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you may perfectly
recall shit.
Yeah, you may perfectly recall the details of any scene you've visited within the past week. You can go back in time within your mind to examine and investigate again. Your Flash of Insight skill, the 13 or higher, ask a question, apply then as well.
Okay, yeah.
It's like a detective mind dance, but I'm doing it like a take a deep breath, mind's eye.
Yeah. No, Lore Master
We're gonna
is
go
sick
totally
as
Columbo.
hell. Like,
yeah.
I love the idea that it's just like you literally go into Sherlock zone and you're like, I'm in the room again. What did I miss under this sheet of paper? Fuck me, that was the thing I needed.
Yep. So
Like-
Lore Master is cool. Okay.
No, it's just Denitra, I don't know if you read that skill particularly. It literally says you can pick up objects and move around in the space as though you are directly there again. It is very Shin Megami
Just go
Tensei
back.
ass.
Yeah. That was I'm the one who picked them. Charles was just making sure that I kept on task.
Good.
Now, the last 2 levels are negotiable only because the weapon that you wanted to use is a chain whip, and you can use Insight Dex for that, but also gun. So right now there are 2 levels of Tinkerer to get the Magitech gun.
Yeah.
I think that that's fine, absolutely fine. You know,
Sure.
It'll be a good range type thing. I don't know how far into Tinkerer she will go, or this detective will go. But yeah, so Tinkerer right now, 2 levels of that.
Sure.
And that is in Magitech. And the first one is you get to try and understand constructs, right? So if there's a construct, you get to mess with it.
Yeah.
And then the second one is you literally conjure gun.
Yeah.
And it's a good gun.
It's a good gun.
Yeah, it's a good
nice
gun.
gun to have, and you're not going to find it in the special equipment.
Nope.
All right.
So that is her levels. Yeah.
I would like to know, Charles, you picked a quirk. Philip, did you manage to pick a quirk at all?
I didn't know if we were using them, so I
we
looked
will be.
through them.
Mhm.
The only
No.
one.
No pressure to grab one right now. They're in all the books too, so I think I've shared out
there's
most
more.
stuff, but in case you need more, I can give.
They're only in the second 2, right? The high fantasy and tech
Yes.
fantasy.
The
They're in
second
natural as well.
3. Natural fantasy is
Like in
also
the-
out. If you don't have that, I can get that to you.
Yeah, it's the newest book.
Yeah, it just came out.
I have natural. Oh, okay. The one that I thought sort of after the fact for it could be was the Revenant,
Mm-hmm.
because what if the reason that he's no longer the Phantom of Justice is because he actually died on his last mission and he doesn't know it?
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah.
Resurrection magic, once proven possible, never duplicated? That's crazy. That's in our Enigmas and Mysteries. Yeah, you can do that, man.
So I'll look through him again, just because, like I said, I looked through him a little bit and I was like, well, that one's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Go
just to,
nuts.
like,
Figure something out. Also, I do believe there is an
That's a cool
heirloom one. Since I know you were talking about like a special weapon that your
sure.
character had.
Mm-hmm.
So there is like an heirloom weapon style one that you can pick.
Once per session, you may give me 1 fabula point in order to have a sudden complication arise due to the unique nature of the item.
Yeah, but it's like a really expensive item.
Yeah,
So it's going to have a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I'm guessing I'd have to build my own within the thing, right? The equipment tab.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd have to build it in there.
So in case you wanted to
yeah.
go that route, because I remembered you mentioning that, that's also something that's available to you.
Yeah, or you could just be undead.
Undead also super cool.
Yeah, like he wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
So like he'd still eat and drink and sleep
Fucking
and breathe.
Bruce Willis, man.
Yeah, he'd still do all the things. It would just finally like it would be, oh, I deal dark damage now. That's cool.
Yep.
Man,
'Cause I'm so
dead
pissed.
tired. I have no idea why.
Yep.
Ha 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 ha.
The
Dead
jokes
tired.
begin already.
Guys, this walk is killing me. Womp womp womp. All right, so figure out your dice sizes from the 3 different spreads that you can do. You can either do specialist, all-rounder, or standard. So I believe standard is all-rounder, I believe is all 8s. Standards is what
a
is
10
it?
and a 6.
Yeah, 10 and a 6.
10-8-8-6, and then specialist is 10-10-6-6. I want to say.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. And do you want us to talk about them when we picked them? Just to talk about it in general?
Yeah,
or?
absolutely.
Sure.
Let me know what you're all feeling. I assume Denitra's probably going to 10 insight.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
Let me open hers. Yeah, 10 insight, 6 might. Right. Everything else is 8.
Sure.
I am similar with this character. 10 dex, 6 willpower. Magical, but not actually able to do magic well.
Oh, okay.
Not any like spells. Definitely not a spellcaster.
And I went with a D10 for might and a D6 and insight.
Cool.
So
we kind of spread it around.
You did.
I got a lot of health since I took provoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which one is insight? Insight's like intelligence and stuff, right?
Yeah, intelligence.
Insight is
and
all of the thinky stats because they put it under one rather than trying to say, well, wisdom and intelligence are different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
See, my guy ain't too bright. He's all brawn, not brain.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
All right, and then you would calculate your starting HP, MP, inventory points, defense, magic, defense, and initiative. Magic, defense, and defense, except if you have an equipment that modifies them, are just based off of the dice for your. I think it's your defense is your willpower and dex. Is that right?
It's only one, I think.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah, it's your.
Yeah, but like defense and magic defense, I think one of them is your willpower, and one of them is your dex.
Yes,
correct. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, and then your hit points are going to be based off what classes you chose. You're going to get a bonus pool to start with, but I think you start with a flat number that I don't know off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I can't remember where it starts, but it does start.
Oh yeah, for every level you get some.
Yeah, for every level in an 8, they're HP, MP, and IP classes, and for every level you take in them, you get a certain amount. Except for like IP, you don't get one per level; you get one per something.
Yeah.
Inventory points are
2.
strong.
Yeah, that's Tinkerer, Symbologist, or Symbolist is 4 extra inventory points.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to use those.
Yeah.
So you're rocking what, 10 from start?
Yeah, 10 from start. So I can make the potion, kind of, somewhat, with the way that the system works.
Yeah, your max hit points are equal to. Is equal to your total character level plus 5 times your character's base might die.
Yes, and that's So that's why I would have been 45 because my might die is 8, so 40. Then plus just that 5 for my levels, but then I also have a plus 5 for mutant, so I have 50 HP.
I'm rocking 65.
Yeah, I was about to say you got at least 60 something.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it wrong. When you take your initial level in a class, is when it gives you points.
Yeah, that first one. And for the detective, well, HP is relative, right? It's higher than 0.
Yes.
It's 35.
I'm made of glass.
35. However, 50
Denitra,
MP.
This glass cannon shit you do, I need you to stop.
It was an accident, okay? It was an accident.
Like, I'm gonna be smart. Well, the pick 2, right? Smart, strong.
Yeah, look.
I guess fast. Yeah. But I mean, you got 50 MP, and you we didn't talk about the quirk that she wanted to take.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Because it requires all of us to do some work. Because the one that she wants to take is Diabolist. Together with your crew. You create a familiar. This is from Tech Fantasy. You create a familiar. Basically, you have a partner, right? Like it's like the faithful companion, except for it's not. It's from the demon family.
Shocking. Hey, we got a lot of play in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Wait,
we
did
did.
I just off the rip without knowing that she's playing a devil summoner character give you a devil summoner nation?
Yeah.
Yep.
You did.
Fuck me.
Yep.
Like you played right into her hands.
Yep. So yeah, you have to generate the thing, but basically it's got HP. It goes or you go. It doesn't go with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it dies, it just disappears and it comes back. So I mean, she's not going to be up close and personal anyway. That thing is.
Yeah, it's there's the whole class that has that thing in it.
Yeah. Wayfarer, I think.
Yeah, Wayfarer is
For the
a super
faithful
fun
companion.
class with the faithful companion. I love that.
Yeah.
What if I wanted to be two people?
The interesting thing about this demon is blah blah blah. There's something about, I think later on there might be an upgrade where it can like mutate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So right now we would build a level 5 NPC. We could do that off screen.
Yeah.
And then it would have stats. So
yeah, and basically we're usually like template it as a monster essentially, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Is what they suggest for most of these things.
Okay, so it is here right now. When an NPC you can see that belongs to the demon species falls to 0 hit points, if you're present on the scene, you may spend 20 mind points. If you do, the game master reveals that creature's entire profile, and you may replace one of your familiar skills with one of that creature's skills.
I love this fucking game.
Yeah.
This is so damn cool.
And so the demon actually transforms.
Demon Pokemon.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
We're
she will have to
splicing
describe the
summons.
transformation.
Yeah.
Or you will.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Denitra, who is your initial companion and why is it Frosty?
Oh my god, Charles said the same thing. All right, look, it's purposely not going to be a Jack Frost type of demon. Because I got called out on it twice. I'm gonna not do that.
Because we're right.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna do that. I have an idea.
Okay. Why is it one of the fairies?
You know what, James? All right, look, you're the GM, but you need to shut the hell up. Let me have some surprises. Shit, man. I mean,
I have too much fun.
they have a name and everything. I can't pronounce it because I think it's Gaelic, but I'm like,
if you show it to me,
really
I can pronounce
cool.
it for you. I actually know how to pronounce a little bit of Gaelic.
Thank you. I will send it.
The tiniest slice.
Yeah. But you build that companion with everyone, but I think that you said your character might want to try and hide that it's a demon.
Yeah.
Which probably makes sense. So that might be something.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's briskly walking away. He's just like, oh boy, I don't need everybody knowing about that.
Sure, yeah, no. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it sounds like we've all calculated out our stuff.
Or the system has, yeah.
You would have to purchase starting equipment.
Yep.
Done.
Yep, which I have done.
Cool. And then you get 2d 6 times 10 additional on top of whatever you didn't spend as starting petty cash.
Yeah, I'll have to do that for the detective. For my character, well, I don't need a weapon, so I got a little extra money. I wanted to punch, okay? I was going to make someone who punches. You knew that. You knew it.
Yeah, I did.
I have a question.
Yep.
So it says you have the 500 or whatever the value is to buy equipment.
Yes.
And then once you do that, then you add the extra gold. What do you do with that extra gold? Just hold on to it till the game starts, or
spend it later? It's so that you have starting cash in case you spent all of your 500, or so that you have some randomization to the amount that you have money.
Okay. So it's not like go back and buy more things.
No, that's the thing. You can only start with 500 gold worth of items. And then it's like, well, we don't want you to just be zeroed out because that's the efficient thing to do. roll 2d6 times 10, you have that much cash to start. And if you're like, I
Mhm.
want to go back to the shop, it's like, what shop? You're not at a shop right now. You've just built your character. You'll need to go to a shop to buy something if you want.
Yeah, you got
Makes sense.
pocket money from your last job or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Scrounging up that
Or just because you're
estate.
rich.
Yeah. All right, and then there's name and finishing touches. Give your character a name, note their pronouns, and briefly describe what they look like to the rest of the group. I think besides Denitra, folks have pretty much described. Like I kind of see Philip's character as almost like a not to the exact extreme, but like very much like a Max style from the MTV character. Like you'd be that kind
You
of
making
comic book character.
Max.
You
that
know,
dirty?
where
He lives in a box
you got
outside.
you got no neck. You're just kind of like a hunch that has a face in front of it.
I was thinking something along the lines of like someone who, yes, like a superhero, so he's bigger and buffer, but more like ninja clothing rather than skin tight spandex.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or something that
Mm-hmm.
kind of is a uniform looking thing, one for blending in, but also like has a unique profile.
Yeah, I was mostly just saying like the silhouette that I'm seeing of him is like him bent fully over a bar and just kind of like with like a big back coming of shoulder coming around him. Sitting there with his one big beefy hand.
Mm-hmm.
Completely hinged. I was thinking more of like the cat from like Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh, sure.
A thick question sort of guy.
That makes sense too.
Yeah.
At least that's how I visualized it when you were talking, Philip.
Mm-hmm.
I saw like a big buff guy that was just kind of down on his luck at a bar, just, and it my comic book brain was like, this would be like the kind of thing that would be like Miller's Batman Returns, kind of.
Yeah, because Miller's like, Batman is also very thick and hinged.
Top heavy as shit.
Thick.
He's trying to like hold his beer with his like prosthetic hand, and it's just like hitting himself in the jaw with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Denitra
describe. I'm sorry. Unrelated question, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think the Max stinks? I think he stinks.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's make believe, so he doesn't have a smell. But when she's thinking about him, he smells like crazy. Like he is just, he gasses out the room.
Oh God. Okay. All right.
Yeah. He just sort of smells dirty.
Yeah.
Sweaty here.
Yeah. Ziz blood, or is blood rather.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. All right, James. The question you were about to ask me.
What does your character look like, Denitra?
They're conventionally attractive.
Sure.
I
knew that.
I love you dearly. There's no judgment in this face. I promise.
We're heroes. Come on now.
Except for Stinky over there.
Say... He's not well.
He was a hero.
Unfortunately, I don't know their features right now, but I do know that they're sharply dressed. They're tall-ish, like I guess what an average person in this world would be considered a little tall, like not always towering over everybody, not like always the tallest person like in a crowd, but like I don't know, a 6 foot tall person. Is that considered tall?
I was gonna ask a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So outside of the demon nation, is everyone else a human?
I'm gonna say I don't want to define that yet. I want to say there's multiple races, though. I want to say that there's a plethora of fantasy style race stuff that can go on.
I was sort of part of my question was in like, are we all humans? Like, I mean, I realize Charles, your character's a mutant. but are they still like a human, or are they like a, type thing? Like how common is it to see dwarves or fairies or mermaids or vampires? Like
That's a
are
good
there
question. We should
lycanthropes?
definitely have an answer for that as a group.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another.
I think that seems fine. I mean, there's room for all of them, especially because like like that civilization before the demons got there could have been one of these races, and that's why they're more rare now, right? It could have been any of those things because there's probably elves, but they might just be more reclusive. Who knows? Or
Maybe they live
hell,
underground.
Toria might be elves. I don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the
So-
Sky City could be Sky Elves.
Yeah. So I think it's best to say that they're around, but I don't know. I'd like to have them all, basically.
Yeah, I would like there to be like more flavors of humanoid people, because I just honestly think that's more interesting than just born ass hears.
I was just
What you're
thinking,
gonna say.
like, if you have, like, it could be like majority humans,
Mhm.
Yeah, of course, because
but then, like if you see like an elf somewhere, it's not like, oh my God, it's an elf, but there is only
Yeah.
one. You only see the one.
Mhm.
Or, like, oh, there's one dwarf. He happens to be the blacksmith of this town. It's the only dwarf we've ever seen. That
that's
type of a thing.
racist.
It's not. They're just really good at it.
What if?
Yeah.
Oh my god. What about like Keromimi people?
I
Like-
don't know that word.
Cat people.
So, like-
Makote.
Yeah, like it's still a fucking humanoid. They just happen to
Beast
have
people.
bigger furry ears, or maybe a tail. Like
I'm gonna
You
say
mean
that
cat own?
if nothing else, we can always say that a lot of demonic races basically just skew a bunch of different humanoid types.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and that would work very well.
Especially
Into
because, like
animal
what I was
form?
saying before, it's their form is just kind of like whatever they kind of want it to be, really.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, that would make sense. Then, all of those like beastmen races are just flavor of demon from some place on that plane.
I mean,
when
they can be
they're
native too
on this earth.
but I just want to say that, like, if you're looking for a particular vibe or look to exist, it almost certainly does in the Demon Kingdom, because
Sure. Yeah. And for my character, I was Final Fantasy VI in my brain. So I imagine them looking fairly humanoid, right? They look humanoid. However, they are just covered or where you can see it with kind of runes or like arcane circuitry on their body.
Oh my god.
Are they
Charles?
Mhm.
The Demi Fiend.
Sure, something like that. I have
You
Like-
I mean, if they glow or pulse.
Yeah,
They
I
look
have
like
like a little bust of them because I was trying to go in like a six style with like they would be wearing very anachronistic jewelry, right? Very rune focused, but they themselves are fairly androgynous. Lithe, dexterity is their thing. But yeah, not really easy to pin down on one part of the spectrum.
Right. Cool.
And then their limbs would be covered in these tattoos or circuitry or whatever you want to call it, with some sort of central
whatever etchings and
something. Yeah.
We determined that this etching, at least in current, as we start this, no one has seen this before, right?
Right. Yes.
And follow-up question: do you cover it?
Yes. Absolutely yes.
Okay.
So they're usually wearing.
No, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Oh no, they're usually wearing long sleeves. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Denitra, that's my favorite Gaelic name. It's pronounced Kiva.
Ah,
Kiva.
thank you. Jeez, let me write down
Spelled
that phonetic spelling.
Kawime.
Jeez,
It is pronounced Kiva.
that's just as bad as Chumley. Do you know how that's spelled?
No.
Not like it sounds.
Do you know how
Yeah,
Siobhan is
pronounced.
spelled?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another one. I'm just like, oh,
gorgeous name.
okay, it is.
Yeah.
In your last game, I had the Oishin,
Yeah.
Yeah, Oishin.
not
Yeah.
Gaelic. I mean, I guess it's just what, Irish or no?
It's
I don't
kind of
know.
Irish, I believe. Yeah, Oishin. But yeah, Oishin was great. But yeah, Kiva.
Thank you.
As you were like, it's a Gaelic name. I was like, I bet I know which one it is because it's the coolest looking one, and honestly, it's the coolest sounding one for what it looks like. It's just Kee tac va for pronunciation.
Language is wonderful. It really is.
Yeah, I really need to figure out my roots and like actually someday try to do something to understand my Irish heritage more than just
That'd
like
be
looking
cool.
at Gaelic stuff and being like, that's neat.
Hey, when you eventually go down that path, I would love to know because that
Yeah.
sort of stuff is really interesting to me.
I just want to point out that in this game itself, or in the game book, if you're having trouble building characters, and a lot of people do for this system, because it is very much a grab bag, you can go to page 172 of the book. It just gives you layouts of character stat builds that you can just throw out there, and it gives you all the starting everything for them. If nothing else, you can look and be like, that's close, but I want like one thing changed, and you go change the thing. Yeah. So pretty cool. Let's see. Other than that, I think that is us being finished with the initial flowchart. Let's just double check. Yeah. That's the world flowchart done, and the character. Yeah. Name and pronouns is I think the most that needs to happen. So
yeah. And for my character, like I said, they, them, I'm gonna try very hard to do that. But first name is Luce. Yes, because Terra and all the Italian that's in 6. Yep.
Cool.
spelled Lucce.
Yep.
Okay. What was that, Philip? Sorry.
I did Corbin, just because that's like a standby I use all the time. I don't know how well it fits. I'll look through. Like there's like a list of names, so they've got some cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Echo and Brahm and Garm. So I don't know.
Toran's in there.
It is.
Oh, is it?
Torren.
Yeah. Always in some way.
I do have a name.
Mm-hmm.
So this character is gonna be a guy, he, him. His name is Evans Esmore.
Esmore?
Eesmore.
Ah. Was that, did you say Morie?
Hold on, I'm writing it to you.
Yeah, cool. I just want to make
No,
sure
it's
I have
just
it right.
More. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Cool. And how was our start that we felt here? Okay, cool. Oh,
Sure.
I typed that right. Sweet.
Yeah. So we were talking Seekers or Guardians, I guess, are the two.
Which, honestly, at this point, I would say there's very little difference between the two functionally. It's all about determining where you're trying to go and having that be the initial questing.
Where are we going? Where are we going, fellas?
Yeah. So what is the most common thread that we're seeking? I don't know, Philip, if Corbin or what their name will be,
Mhm.
um, is looking to try and figure out what happened or not,
Yeah.
right?
Um,
I
I guess.
I have a bit of world I
Mhm.
can give you all to help.
Sure.
Relatable to the breaches is what I'm calling them right now.
Sure.
The monster surges. We
Hmm.
call them breaches, right? So they do
Hmm.
show up in places. And
Yeah.
it's mostly random as far as people can tell. And I would say that there is a certain key element to it that identifies it as a breach. Like there is, what I want to say is it's something that makes dungeons easy to generate in this system. So what it'll be is that these things are just like structures that are out of place for where they are now.
Hmm.
So like you get a door into the side of a mountain that turns into a dungeon, and it's like, why is that there? That wasn't there before. It was a mountain.
Mm.
So you can have like native dungeons, but you can also have breaches.
Sure.
Okay.
And so, Charles, would it be okay if we found you in a breach?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the
That makes
breach
a
would
lot of
have
sense.
been from, I guess, your ancestral home, Philip?
Um, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
It's just so it's not like, I guess these breaches, do they have to be stopped, or they just kind of like they appear and they may disappear with no change ever happening?
So usually when they appear, monsters flood out, and they're basically, I'm gonna say it's a thing where dungeons sit passively with monsters in them, so it's never truly fully stopped, but you can definitely
Hmm.
get it to a point where I'm stealing basically from solo leveling here, but this is also a premise that's been around since Gauntlet.
Hmm.
You know, you have a monster
Mhm.
spawner, you have to go down there and break the spawner, and then once you break the spawner, the things stop coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like something that is shifted onto this plane that we have to go and stop,
Mm-hmm.
and then the breach would be closed.
Yeah. That said, what I would like to do to add to the mystery of Charles's character is there were no monsters, just him.
Mm.
He was found in a dungeon
Oh,
and there was nothing else there.
Yeah.
Okay.
ooh, spooky. It's another mystery.
Did you did you come out on your own, or did someone bring you out?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Were you
I think that's
sleeping
up between
when
the
you
two
came
of you.
out?
Yeah. I think if I look at, where is it? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, upon awakening, you found yourself in the depths. So just going from there, maybe it was kind of a, you came in, inadvertently woke whatever machinery I was connected to, and then I took myself out of that machinery, and
Hmm.
that would be it, right? Some sort of humanoid shaped charger coffin, who knows,
Hmm.
right? But that's what I came out of, or like some device that was generating or removing power, who knows, right? Just in some sort of machinery that when you came in activated, and then I came out. So maybe that's where we met, and then I came out with you.
Okay. And you've been out for a year now, right?
Yeah, so that was a little
Okay.
while ago, maybe. Or maybe it could coincide with something in your backstory as well, or be in
Awesome.
between.
I was going to say, since like I could have gone into it, the breach,
Hmm.
and found you, and we had a little bit of like dialogue and whatever, and then
Hmm.
go separate ways. You spend your year, and at some point, that's when I
Sure.
fall. And I
And then I
fall
come
from.
back.
Yeah, we meet up
Okay.
again, and you're like, I remember you, and I'm like, oh, what?
Hmm.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I came back to the place where I came out of for
Well,
something.
yeah, I don't think he'll be there. He's sort of like
Oh,
not
okay.
disgraced, but
Sure.
if
Just
he's a
met somewhere else.
revenant, yeah, if he's a revenant, then they think he's dead, so he's
Yeah.
not at home. But I
Okay.
was thinking maybe disgraced.
Yeah. So we meet somewhere on the road, and then so that segues into what the heck were we looking for? If we're going to be seekers, are we looking for an answer to your problem or figuring out, or an answer to my problem? Right? Because I'm just the first thing that you do is like a prologue, depending on which one of these that you pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think for my character arc, the only thing he would be trying to do would be redemption in his own eyes.
Sure.
So I think it'd be like if he goes with you to do whatever you're trying to do, he'll stop drinking and he'll have to get better. He'll have to rehone his skills and all of that kind of stuff. So it's more so helping you because it will eventually help him.
Okay. So then it could be something that I am looking for. So in that intervening time, got a clue, and then we're headed to some place to do something first. Okay.
Sure. I think that all sounds pretty good as a good focus to start with.
Yeah. So not directly chosen one guardians, just I am seeking a thing and you're seeking a thing alongside. And then how would the detective get involved?
Um,
What do you think, Denitra? Are you seeking a thing? An answer or a
Yeah, but right now it's a mystery.
Sure, that's fine. So then I guess in between, I guess this is now in your court, James.
Yeah.
Because we have kind of a shape.
So there's something that you're all looking for, but it's more investigative. It's probably not
Yeah.
I mean, what I could say that would make sense, Philip, your character tends to do grunt work, right? I would assume.
Yeah,
when he's out and about.
Yeah, so I would imagine he's a hired hand. He makes a beggar / like manual labor.
I would say
Spends it
that
all on
easy money goes with the investigation of cleared breach.
Sure. And my character has just been going from breach to breach trying to figure out what the heck.
Whereas going and having a look at a breach, I can come up for a convincing reason why every one of you would be there. Denitra, you would be there because you're an investigator, and you probably, if you are moved away from where you were living, I would imagine this is all occurring like around the Spy Nation area, but outside of like the major cities of it. And this would be something where you were all going either for monetary benefit or to discover something.
Sure.
Denitra, your character would probably end up needing money if you walked away from whatever previous employment you had. And an investigator who's sharp and able to pick stuff up is always helpful in a situation where you're trying to discover information in situations. Probably some researcher who's very intrigued by breaches and the technology available in them would be someone who'd be hiring Philip's character for muscle, Denitra for extra investigative help, and you would have probably volunteered for it.
Yeah. Also, breaches are cool.
Yeah. It's a cool thing we just made up that's in this world.
Yep.
Totally
What's
original.
I don't want to say like fashion, but what is the like time period? Are we in a
Yeah.
fantasy world, or I mean, if we have steam powered, or we have steampunk?
I think that we can have
Victorian era.
some steampunk, either Victorian or honestly, it doesn't hurt to have different places. Remember what it said is there's no verisimilitude here. We can have a Ming dynasty right next to Sicilian
Wild West.
Renaissance.
Yeah.
It's just theming. It's not like Steiner and well actually, honestly, everything in that was very not Renaissance coded. What the hell was that era? I guess what I'm saying is 9 had very concise costuming.
Yeah, it's true. But I think that it makes sense here to have multiple, So Spy Area might be more Renaissance-y, but Yonkos might be more pushing Victorian into much more steampunk,
I would say steampunk, Assassin's Creed Ezio. What was that one? 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Steampunk Assassin's
Never
Creed
played that
2
one.
is probably a solid vibe.
Wild Wild West, but a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically Edwardian, but pre-Edwardian fashions.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like, all of y'all are like, what the fuck is she talking about?
No,
I don't know. I thought
know
that
what
was
you're
much
saying.
earlier.
It's just
Okay.
here. Let me just look up to make
I was
sure.
sort of curious if am I in a trench coat and top hat?
Yeah,
Am I in spandex?
that would be Edwardian because that's like 1900.
It depends on your class. Like, I don't think you'd wear a top hat. I mean, maybe in your heroine days you wore a top hat.
Look like tuxedo mask on my fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's any problem with, like, even if it's not necessarily like a film noir duster, you definitely had like
Oh yeah.
in the Jack the Ripper era style, there were very much full trench coats that were just like double breasted, button on the front, big top hats, things like that.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes had a duster. It was just a different kind of duster than you would see in Sam Spade. He had that neat little pseudo mantle jacket that he wore.
My character's definitely gonna have some sort of trench because, like, if I have a gun and a chain whip, you can't just have those on your pants,
So, but that's another question, isn't it? Because this is very much a society that has adventurers. So, can you not just walk around with live steel? Were there any reasons that certain nations would restrict it when others wouldn't?
I would think so, and also I think it also has something to do with like your profession,
Like, I would imagine actually, whenever we name this fucking spy nation, the spy nation would definitely have rules against non-concealed weapons, specifically more so because it's like, tuck that shit in. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't show
some
people you have a knife. You shove people with your knife, and they're dead because they didn't see it. So
exactly.
Well, I think that's all a fair little bit of world building, and then we can come back and do a prologue and some play next time. Which means I have a bit of work ahead of me to make sure people can play.
Right, and I can get you all these these 2 characters and all that.
Cool.
Yep, same.
Awesome. Well, that is a solid session 0, everyone. Thank you for taking the 4 hours with me.
Yep, we did it.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Look at that. Look at that. Good timing. Good timing. And we did a bunch of work. Hopefully that was, I know it's a whole bunch to just sit and talk through a million things, but I don't know. I hope having this online somewhere is helpful to somebody, because I know that session 0s are always one of those things where you say everyone should do a session 0, and then it's just like, we just made our characters. Can we just start? And for this game specifically, it does not have that. It is, no, you can't. You need to actually make the world so that it works. So we'll see what we get going from this, and I'm very interested in the results. Thanks, everybody.
Same. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Glad to finally start going somewhere with it. So we'll definitely have some fun with this, I think. And
I'm excited.
I am also excited and scared.
Oh, don't be scared.
It's a line from Into the Woods.
Oh, it sure is.
Yep. Well, okay. We've been plus one shoot the shit kind of, but mostly Fabula Ultima session 0. I'm James. That's Charles. That's Denitra. That's Philip. Everybody, thank you all so much for joining us, and we hope you see you again on our prologue into session 1. So, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.